Mario episode.
What's up, guys? Welcome to SpawnCast episode. Which one is it, Evan?
48.
48. Thank you, Evan. We're 2 off from 50. Very nice. Halfway to 100. I have a couple people with me tonight. We have, of course, Max, DreamcastGuy. How you doing tonight, man?
Very good. Very good.
Very good. You guys just heard Evan. How you doing tonight, Evan?
Pretty good. Pretty tired, but, staying up.
Yeah. Then we have OJ from PlayerEssence, who's guesting with us again tonight. How you doing, man?
I'm doing good. Thanks for having me on again, man.
Absolutely. And then, of course, we have Sean, who decided to hit continue on the Metal Gear Solid screen. How you doing?
Good.
It's RGT85, of course. So there's a lot of stuff that happened this week. Specifically, we had a couple of big AAA announcements from Nintendo, from Ubisoft, and from Activision. We're going to go over all of those. But first, we need to go around and go over what we've all been playing, I guess, this past week. And we'll start with Sean, because he was kind of already talking to us before we went on air here.
So Outlast, man, I owned it on PS4, and I got stuck kind of, I wouldn't say super early in the game, probably like an hour into the game, and I was just like, whatever. But I picked it up on the Switch because I wanted to do a video containing it, and I don't know, I just got past that part, and I ended up falling in love with it, and I finished it today, and just really the ending was very. I wouldn't say the ending itself. I would say the last probably 30-45 minutes of it was just very different and very unique, and I was kind of taken aback by it. And now I've started the Whistleblower DLC because I want to know more of the Outlast universe. And then I've actually been playing some Fortnite as well. I finally got around to trying out the latest patch. I've been playing that on Xbox One. I like the 20-man, the 20-man squads.
20 versus 20 versus 20.
Yeah, those are pretty cool. So yeah, just pretty much that. Couple smaller Switch games I've been dabbling in. Still playing Payday 2. Still enjoying that, trying to get my stealth all the way up. But yeah, that's about it.
Okay, very good. And Max, you kind of talked about Outlast a little bit too. Did you want to weigh in on that at all?
Yeah, just real fast. Man, I love Outlast 1 and I love Outlast 2 a lot. And I beat that game. I've beaten that game. The first time I ever played it was on stream. I just beat the whole game in one sitting on stream. Man, it's good. Yeah, especially that ending. It really twists and turns your head a lot.
Yeah.
This week, I've been playing a bunch of Yakuza 6, obviously, because my review is going up next week.
Yeah, I need to get a review copy of that or something. I do like Yakuza. I was gonna get to Kiwami, I guess. Before that, I haven't gotten to that. Yakuza 0, I think, is how a lot of people got into the series.
And Kiwami is so good. Yakuza 6, my God, it's just like I'm allowed to talk about like the first 4 chapters of the game, and I just gotta say, man, it just blows my mind. Like, something I like is for the 6th game in the series, they do a lot of really smaller stuff to kind of make sure you don't feel lost. Like, I haven't played any of the other games in so many years. You start out basically like in a big dream sequence where all the different characters like walk up to you, and you get to choose who you want to talk to, and they basically explain who they are. And man, super fun. And then the other thing, I've been playing a lot of Darwin Project. Which is
what is that exactly? Because I saw your review go up, and then Evan said something about it right away.
Yeah.
What is that exactly?
It feels very much like it's trying to cash in on the battle royale, craze. The art style is 100% to a T Fortnite.
It's small scale,
weird.
though, right? Smaller group.
Very scary. It's 10 people at a time. 10 people are dropped into a giant canyon, basically. And the big twist is that there's crafting. You can get wood and leather, but you don't get leather off animals. You get leather off of chairs. There's literally just hundreds of chairs around the environment, and you go up and skin the chairs, and you build like a cloak so you can stay warm, or you sharpen your axe, and you basically have to kill everybody before you freeze to death. And
and it's supposed to have partial integration, I thought, with Mixer, so people watching it on Mixer can affect the game, because that's one of their core things they're trying to do more with Microsoft.
Yeah, because there's 10 people that are in the canyon killing each other, and then there's an 11th person who plays as the director, which is like a humongous drone that flies around. And I did a couple matches as the director before I did my review, and you actually can like fly through environments, and basically you charge up energy points, and it makes it where you can like close parts of the map, drop nuclear bombs, make certain people invincible. And people who are watching on Mixer can like vote for what to happen. So a lot of interesting ideas, but man, is it not done.
I like the idea of them adding in stuff for Mixer. I think that's pretty cool for the audience. I mean, isn't that like the next evolution of people like watching streamed games is to actually participate in the game?
On paper, yes. Actually, watching it go down, I don't like it. Because people by default get some sort of bias. We can't help it. People like an underdog. So if it looks like somebody's having trouble early on, the director will help them. Everybody will start voting to help them. And then that person starts getting literally super abilities dropped on their head. And like they end up winning the match. Yeah. I mean, you can literally get turned invisible. The audience can like vote to make you invisible or get full health or automatically be instantly back up to full warmth. And so it's kind of like lots of interesting ideas. But man, they kind of messed the execution up.
Means you got to win over the crowd, man. You got to like cut a good promo or something.
And that's what they say. They actually say play to the crowd. That's what they say is like try and be entertaining to the crowd because the crowd will be entertaining to you.
I think that like integrating like Mixer and stuff would be cool for like, let's say like a game like Mass Effect where there's decisions and maybe the crowd can pick like what you do. I think that would be cool for something like that. Maybe not so much competitive multiplayer, but like a single player game and letting the crowd pick like, hey, you know, what choice should I take? And then
we kind of watched. I mean, we watched an entire community play through Pokemon on Twitch.
Yeah, so,
I mean, you know, I guess they can work together after they mess around for a while and they go, maybe we should finish this game. They made it work. But Sean, what about you, man? We've been. Oh, I'm sorry, OJ, we've been playing, man.
I've just been playing Rocket League. That's kind of the game that everyone's been liking to play. You know,
I mean, Rocket League's fun, man. I mean, that's a great game to play with the community. Rocket League.
Yeah, awesome. I've actually scored some goals now. So I just got the game on PC. And I was playing it on Switch beforehand, but that's the cool thing. Like we have the crossplay. So we had a bunch of people playing on Switch. We had people playing on PC. It was no problem, you know, just got to connect together and play. So that was fun. Also been still playing Xenoblade Chronicles 2. I'm going through New Game Plus mode. And I don't know if I said this last time that I was on, but they tinkered with the whole rare blade system, in my opinion.
Oh, is it easier?
It's a lot easier. I got 7 in one sitting. Like I sat down, I opened like 15 legendary core crystals and like maybe 8 or 9 rares, and I got 7 rare blades, 6 or 7 rare blades. So I think they tinkered with it, or maybe I'm just really lucky. I'm not sure, but the first time playing through, it was horrible. So they tinkered with that. And that's pretty much all. I played just a little bit of the Castle of Heart game, but I can't really talk about it. But yeah, I did play.
I'm actually downloading that right now.
Yeah.
I'm watching the little bar fill up.
Yeah.
That's Brooks' personal look says RGT and OJ love you too, John. Thank you. We appreciate the shout out there. But what about Evan? What have you been playing?
Vermintide 2 dropped a couple days ago, so I've been playing a lot of that. It's just like a flood game, 4-player co-op. Just have to make it through the map. I've been playing Dead Cells in the beta because that's pretty much going to be what 1.0 is close to being.
Is this the first time you played Dead Cells?
No, I played it a long time ago when there were only maybe like 2 or 3 biomes, and the ossuary was near impossible to get through.
Yeah, I played that thing like I think when it first dropped on Steam.
You should try it again.
Yeah, is it better?
A lot of changes. It's no longer really grindy like it was before, where you're just leveling up weapons to start with. You just make them, and then you'll find them as you go.
It's coming to I think it's coming to all the systems.
It's coming to Switch as 1.0 drops, and this is a game. Like I know you guys are all happy about Dark Souls and all that, but the difficulty, how much you're gonna try to run through it and die and have to do it again and again and again. It's so good.
It's a fun game. I remember actually when I first played it back then, I sent them a tweet and asked them if they were going to be moving it to the Switch because I thought the 2D aspect would fit really well on the screen for the Switch and everything. It wasn't a super demanding game, so the Switch will run it no problem, you know, at high frame rate and everything. And they just said, yeah, we're looking into it, and there you go. They announced for it, so it's a good game. If you're on the Switch, I wouldn't sleep on it. I would pay attention because I think it'll probably end up doing better on the Switch than it does on Steam because Evan and I were talking about Steam. It gets pretty crowded at times. So
I think by this point, most of the people who are going to get it on Steam have it because I mean it's early access.
Yeah, well, yeah. That's the other thing. When a game leaves early access, I don't think it gets that nice boost from release either.
Not heavily. I mean, it certainly will, but not completely. And I've also been playing a little bit of Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six Siege because they did release a zombie mode in it recently.
I heard about that. Yeah, how is that?
It's difficult, but it's awesome at the same time. So it was pretty fun to play through.
We're talking about, I saw people in the chat, we're talking about Dead Cells. Keep an eye on that. on Switch.
Yep.
We don't know when it's coming out. I think it's this year is what they said.
Should be soon. The beta that I'm in is supposed to be the final boss, the final areas to go, and at this point it's just minor polish to make sure everything works and all aspects are in, but it's great. I mean, they got like time runs that'll change, I think, from week to week that you get on a leaderboard for. It's just awesome.
Did OJ, were you about to say, did they update us with a date? I didn't really see it all. I don't know if you're going to chime in there with that or.
Oh, no, I wasn't.
Okay.
So the Dead Cells?
Yeah.
Oh no, I was just gonna say that it looks really good. Like I think a lot of Switch fans will definitely be interested in it when it does launch, just because of the way that it plays and everything. I played a bit of it on PC, and I like it. Although I never really played too much of it, so I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, I would pick it up. It's a really cool indie game. It's like a roguelike.
Roguelike Metroidvania, but with movement similar to what you'd expect from old school Prince of Persia.
And you unlock things if you get far enough in the level that you get to, I think, if I remember right, keep. You
remember what it used to be. Now there's blueprint drops. You have to get checkpoints. The blueprints will get saved. You use the souls to unlock that. You have to get out past certain bosses to get to the collector, which lets you upgrade their base levels. There's so many bosses now, and they all drop special things that give you things like wall clinging, teleportation, all these special abilities that will last every time you die. It's just this great game.
I did see your donation, Jintoki, with the $1, Jintoki Cruz, asking. They're actually specifically asking about Max's 3DS video, which we will talk about because that's going to be part of the direct. So I think that was a very, very good discussion that you brought up, Max. That people seemed really into. There are people on either side, actually. I think it's actually a very polarizing topic to talk about. So we will talk about the 3DS when we get into the direct. Absolutely.
And when we get to it, I want to bring up some of the things people brought up in my comments. Really interesting. People, the debate around that is so interesting.
Yes. I will pay attention. Someone's asking in the chat. Any of the donations will go, and we will go back through at 10:30, like we did last time. I think that worked really well. We kind of streamlined it so we didn't get caught off topic or anything. We will go through them then. So we have the Streamlabs, of course, in the description, and then, of course, Super Chat. But I will go back through. I have them both opened here, so don't miss any messages or anything. We'll read them out with name and everything, so don't have to worry about that. I've actually been playing. I went back to the PlayStation Plus. Brain. I said that too. IGN. Yeah. I did play Bloodborne because it became free. Well, free to a degree of PlayStation Plus. I went back and played it because back when it came out, I redboxed it and I realized that was not a game to redbox. So I was like, I will play it again someday, and this was the time. So I only got I think back then I only got 4 or 5 hours in, and you start raging out and everything. But this time I came prepared. And I think I'm on the 4th boss after, I think, 5 hours. So I'm working through it. I am. But you have to grind, you have to do some work, and you have to do some research and strategize. So it's I'm going to blast through it pretty quick, I think. I'm trying to get it done in 15 hours, I think is my goal. So that'll be fun. That and Flint Hook dropped on the Switch. I played a little bit of that because I remember playing it on Steam, and I liked it on there. And Fear Effect Sedna, I played that as well. Didn't like it very much. Not a very good game.
Yeah,
really.
They offered to send that to me, and I was like, "Well, I'm gonna go with this open mind. Let me look at the gameplay. Nope, it's trash." It's
it's the one that they did a Kickstarter for. There's another Fear Effect coming out. This isn't the big one, but Fear Effect Sedna feels like an indie game with tacked on elements. Like they have this tactical system where you can freeze time, kind of like what you do in Dragon Age, for example, or KOTOR or anything like that. And then you move everyone around, and then you hit the button, and everything plays out. The problem is it's weird. Like you draw a line, right? And in some of those games, when you tell them where to go, it's more about go there, and then they kind of find their path to it. You can draw a line, like zigzags and everything. They'll follow that exact zigzag, and they'll get mowed down while that's happening. So you usually don't use the tactic stuff. So that's basically out the window completely. And what they give you is a very inaccurate way to shoot at people.
Okay.
So
sounds frustrating.
It's not the best game, I will say that. There are some cool elements, like the cutscenes are well done. I like the cel-shaded look and everything. The story is at least okay. It's interesting enough.
Right.
And they have these cool parts where you have these puzzles you have to do. And like the second puzzle, I thought I was in geometry class because you're actually like matching up shapes. I did a video on it. And I was like, yeah, this is Fear Effect. And you're matching up shapes into the right spots and everything to complete it. It's very weird, but the puzzles are good. And then there was a part where you play as somebody who's a spy who's trying to infiltrate and get information. So you actually play as a waiter who is dropping off drinks to people and kind of trying to eavesdrop on them. But you have to keep giving people drinks to keep your cover up.
Okay.
So that part was cool, but the controls aren't very good. The stealth isn't very good. Not other than the ideas they had, they're not a lot's good for controlling or anything like that. So
that's disappointing.
Yeah, it's a shame. But it runs well on the Switch for what that's worth. Like it doesn't have any issues there or anything. We've had some games like WWE 2K18, which just got looked at, by the way, by Digital Foundry, and that was an embarrassment for 2K. And apparently, it's not even in Blind Squirrel's hands anymore. Apparently, it's in how do you call it? 2K's hands now. And they're probably not going to fix it. Apparently, that's what we heard on now. So the talk around the water cooler, apparently. So I don't know if 2K is going to fix it either, though. So
that's probably why Blind Squirrel removed it from their site and stuff.
Yep.
I bet they caught it. I bet they got in some deep shit over that.
Yeah, but I mean, who knows how long 2K gave him and how much money 2K gave him? They might have given him like a $10 bill with two people and be like, "Get this over."
Yeah,
true.
You know?
Like, what is it? The Doom 3DO port was handled by one woman in like 6 weeks, and she said she basically just had to like remake the entire game and rewrite a bunch of the music herself to make it work.
Yeah.
Yeah, they probably just didn't have much of a budget for the game or anything like that. That's what happens usually, like when you see that type of stuff. So it's unfortunate, man.
Yeah, it got ran over by it's a shame.
Well, I feel like it got pushed out the door and it wasn't time to.
Yeah, I mean, remember that announcement? It was like it's out like last week, and we're like, what?
Yeah, I think WWE had something to do with that. They wanted to get those Christmas sales and stuff. It's a shame, but you know what can you do?
It hit store shelves on rollback.
Yeah,
day one. Oh man,
I'm glad more third-party developers didn't do that, because we kind of saw that with the Wii U, right? Where it's like let's just get it out for the Christmas. Wii U's launching this. Let's just get the game out. I mean, I don't think there was anything as bad as that, but I mean, we saw that quite a bit with developers just rushing things out, like Batman Arkham. When that game first came out on the Wii U, like frame rate dips, like can't even use a pro controller, just like all sorts of like things. I mean, not as bad, obviously not as bad as WWE, but we saw that quite a bit. So I'm glad that some developers just said, "Oh, we're good. We'll wait. We'll optimize, and then we'll get our game out." So
I mean, it seems to happen with pretty much any platform nowadays. Like, remember when Arkham Knight came to PC?
Yeah.
That was ugly. So it's pretty much happens anywhere. It all comes down to budget and scheduling.
But that's unfortunate with the PC one, because I'm thinking that was Iron Galaxy, if I'm not
Yes,
correct.
it was. Yeah.
So I mean, I'm like, well, what happened there? Like, what happened? Because Iron Galaxy is actually really good. They're good. So
even their Borderlands 2 port wasn't that great on the Vita. I mean, it was what they were working with.
Yeah, what they were working with the Vita, but yeah.
I mean, that was before Adam Boyce took over, though. So he took over in 2016.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's true. That's before he took over, because he's gotten them doing good stuff there. So
he's the one talking trash on Twitter right now. So
I love that guy. He's a good guy. I like him.
He's talking trash to Capcom right now.
Need to follow.
Yeah, follow him. He's pretty funny, but he's the one who was like, "Yeah, we can make it happen. We can pour it over Monster Hunter World. Just let us know."
Yeah,
he wants that check, man.
I have a feeling they might have already played around with MT Framework on the Switch, and that's why they kind of know they can do it.
I think they would be with MT Framework is. I mean, because I know it's pretty kind of flexible in terms of what they can do. I mean, there's a lot of variety of games of MT Framework.
Well, even before the Switch release, they did talk about MT Framework and how easy it was to port most of the things on it into the Switch. Anyway,
there's no way you post that publicly and don't at least feel like you can do it. You know what I mean? They must be playing around with something in the background and then like, oh, we can make this work. Yeah, let's let Capcom and everybody else in the world know right now, basically. I mean, it's one thing if they privately message them and someone at Kotaku or somebody leaked it out or something. He just put it right on Twitter. It's like, we can do it. So
I think they could.
And they're actually on a roll right now with that Skyrim port. So
and their own game doesn't look too bad either. Extinction looks pretty good, but we have to wait to see when it comes out.
Yeah. So well, it was a big week, I would say, for like I said, AAA stuff. We can go through. Actually, let's start with the stuff. We'll do the direct after we go through the other ones. Let's start with the Division 2 because I know Max and I know Evan played quite a bit of the Division. I believe I played some. I think I played like 5 or 6 hours before I kind of moved on because it wasn't really feeling it. But I understood there was a lot of detail there, and I also understand that they evolved it as a live service game for a while now. So I don't, Evan, if you wanted to touch on, are you excited for the Division 2 at all?
I mean, yes and no. There's aspects of the first Division I loved, the detail they put into it, just how the game felt over time. But then there's aspects of it that really fell apart. Sort of the dungeons they added had similar feeling bosses. It was more about waiting or trying to break the mechanics. So they didn't have a really good team building the actual PvE content, but everything else around it was interesting. And then as the PvP stuff came out, not just the Dark Zone stuff, it became very clear how broken the sets were, the roles were. They just didn't have a good idea to start with for any of that. But the game played separately as like a vacuum is enjoyable, like almost outside the MMO aspect. The co-op with my friends, it was great to play through some of those earlier dungeons that seem to have more polish to them. Mm-hmm. So maybe the Division 2 will have that, or hopefully they'll actually put the effort into trying to make the final boss stuff more interesting.
Did anyone notice that they didn't announce any systems for this game?
I noticed that. They didn't announce. They just had
really weird.
Had a white. They didn't even have. They just had a logo, just on a slap on a white background.
It looks almost photoshopped. It's so fast.
Yeah, it was just slapped on there. They didn't really do much for it. So I noticed that right away. Like no platforms, no.
And this is running on the Snowdrop engine.
Snowdrop.
Yep.
Which is interesting because that's what Mario Rabbids and South Park is running on.
Yeah.
I'm not saying Division's necessarily going to the Switch. I just thought it was interesting that there was no systems announced or anything.
I can't imagine it would, just because that game is huge and it's very much one of those games of you have like a 3-minute loading bar at the start and then you never load again. Like you can seamlessly walk like 16 city blocks and see like a literal dumpster fire and like dead bodies and stuff. So I just can't imagine. I can't quite imagine that running on Switch.
Yeah, because it doesn't even feel like repetitive textures. Every section of the city you go into feels heavily different.
Yeah, like when you go into the weird, creepy Chinatown area where there's still all the Christmas lights up and it's dead silent. And there's like individual tree leaves blowing and burned out stuff. It's kind of like, I think this is definitely made for high-end PCs and barely works on consoles.
Yeah,
I have a little bit of a different thought process on that because I did play the Division, and I don't see all that what you guys are seeing as much as far as it being so high end. I don't see it with what I've played on PS4 and Xbox One. It just looks like a normal Ubisoft style of game.
I wonder if they lowered it for that. Because I've never played it on console, only PC. And I mean, for me, when I played through it, the texture, the anisotropic filtering,
I played it on the PS4.
Really I did 60 hours on PS4, and I definitely thought
on the PS4.
Well, I played on Xbox. I know Xbox is like the lessest looking one out of all of them. Yeah. I put on the Xbox One. It just looked like a normal Assassin's Creed style or what Ubisoft games look like. It didn't seem like it was super high end to me.
I would just say graphically. I thought graphically and art wise, I hated the combat. I really don't like the combat in Division, but I wanted to beat it and do the Dark Zone stuff. And I feel like the Dark Zone is where I really thought the graphics spike, in my opinion, because you're so seamlessly walking through the city and then you walk through the little security checkpoint and you're in the Dark Zone, and the fact that there's like individual flurries of all the plague flying around, that's where I feel like you could do it. I'm not saying it'd be impossible to run on Switch. I feel like it's gonna look like a PS3 game.
Okay. I mean, that's fair. It was just a conversation I was curious about because it no systems are announced, which is a little weird to me. I figured they'd just been like, boom, Xbox One, PS4, PC, unless they have some back end deal or something. I feel like it's going on all the major systems, and if possible, maybe they'll throw it on the Switch. I don't know how long it's been in development for, but Ubisoft seems to be cozying up to Nintendo, so it's very interesting to keep an eye on. But they said we will find out more at E3. Do you guys think it's a 2018 game?
Yeah,
no.
I think it will be, but either way, it still seems weird that for some reason I'm blown away that we're getting a Division 2 just because the first game keeps selling really well and they keep coming out with DLC for the first one. I don't know.
I mean, it's possible that Ubisoft's done a lot of work on their games as a service, live services stuff, and maybe they're thinking, okay, the Division evolved a lot over time, and we're ready to just relaunch it with what we've learned essentially.
It is going to come down to whether or not everything that they evolved the first one into plays into the second one, because if it ends up like another Destiny thing where it's Destiny 2 is basically the first Destiny 1 core vanilla game, and it's going to be
minus
so
all
bad.
the patches and tweaks that people loved.
Yeah, it's just going to be terrible if they just gut everything, but they definitely need to go back in and redesign stuff. Because
you think that's a 2019 game though, Sean?
Yeah, I do.
Okay,
yeah, I'm with Sean on that.
Okay. I think it's a 2019 game as well. I think they'll announce it this year and then hopefully get it out next year. But then again, I mean, I wouldn't be like surprised if it was 2018 since it is. They've got that engine there. Remember, I think at the beginning of the Division, they just built that new Snowdrop engine. You know, so that was something
because
that was new.
that, and then they moved it to South Park as the next one that used it, and then Mario Rabbids was the third game they used.
So the core engine's done. So I wouldn't be surprised if they did get it out in 2018.
The only reason I'm guessing 2018 is because I think part of the reason they were so successful with Assassin's Creed Origins is the fact that they just revealed it and 6 months later it was in stores. And I think they realized like, oh yeah, like people are kind of tired of trailer culture. Like people just want to be shown a game that they're about to pre-order.
Amen, dude.
Is it possible that's an early 2019 game to avoid Battlefield, Call of Duty, and then in this case Red Dead? Because we're going to talk about Call of Duty. Yes. I think they're terrified of Red Dead. To be honest.
Now that you bring that up, dude, that's definitely. I mean, if you put all those games together, obviously Division's the odd man out, right? Yeah. For the most part,
you know, we saw with Titanfall 2 where it just got ran over by everything.
Yeah.
Despite honestly, I think being the better game.
Yeah, that's true.
So I think I would like to see it. I like to see games announced and they come out sooner than later, obviously. I've been burned by things like Final Fantasy VII Remake. So if they announce it and they show it, I'd like it to come out in the next 8 months, you know? I'd like to, I don't want it to span multiple E3s. I'm about to see Spider-Man at the third E3 in a row. I would really want to play that game. So I prefer them to do that. Everything it looks like it's going according to plan. 1,100 people in here and only not even 300 likes. This is good. Perfect. Nobody's liking it. Very good.
you throw shade on your chat so hardcore.
Like look at all these. That setup was actually really good.
We also got Black Ops 4. I'm not really sure why they opted to go with 4 dashes or slashes, I should say. What is that about exactly? Because it seems like the running joke now. I understand it's marketing because now everybody's talking about it. But what is that?
I made one joke about it, and I changed my Twitter handle to DreamcastGuy4, and now I have 1 million people all day tweeting me about that joke and being like, it's actually tally marks. It's actually tally marks. So it's like, if it is, that's going to look really dumb when we get Black Ops 5 and we're going to have a slash across the front of the box. So I personally think it's a broken Roman numeral, and I'll die on that hill.
Did you guys see the trailer or the live stream they did? And it's like, I think how many people watched that? Like 10,000 people just watched them like carve out dashes out of steel. It was like, what? Okay, what were you saying, OJ?
Somebody online said that it was because of the fan base. They don't know Roman numerals. They're not smart.
Exactly.
So that's what I was like. Well, maybe they just thought about that. But I'm not trying to insult the Call of Duty fan base. I'm just saying I just heard that. But yeah, I think
that's funny. That sounds like a meme right there. That's funny.
But I just heard that they probably want to get with the marketing, the tally marks, you know. I think that's
I do love one of my favorite ones is somebody so brilliantly photoshopped it. It said Call of Duty Black Ops 22, and there's literally just they photoshopped it so it's like it almost looks like airplane wings as they taper off into the distance.
So I'm actually excited for Call of Duty Black Ops. I actually like the Black Ops series, so I'll pick that up on Xbox One. I'm gonna go Xbox One on that one. Yeah, I'll get that. Although last time I was surprised. Last time Activision actually hooked it up with a code. I was a little shocked. Yeah. So who knows? I mean, you know, whatever they send it on, I guess. I don't know. But is anyone else interested in Call of Duty? Evan, I already know you're not, so I'll move on from you.
I am disappointed that we're not still in the past. I liked Call of Duty World War II a lot, and I know the fan base has kind of already turned against it, and all the casual fans have already turned against it. But I still think that was a really good game. So I am personally a little bit disappointed that we're going back.
This is going to be interesting. You just raised this good point. Battlefield is rumored to be going to WW2, World War II. So what if that's right there with the Call of Duty because Black Ops is in modern times and they go, oh, everyone really does want older historical stuff.
If it does, it is going to be the ultimate 1-2 punch from EA because 100%, if it's World War II, like the rumors are saying, I'm jumping on the Battlefield train 1,000,000%. No regrets.
Yeah. It's going to be interesting to see. What about Sean or OJ? Even Battlefield, I guess. I don't know if you're getting either one, but
no, I actually live vicariously through streamers. Darkside Phil, I watch him playing, getting upset and angry and cussing at all that, and I think it's hilarious. So all those games, I'm down to watch all of them. Watch streamers play it. If you guys play them, I'll be right there watching, cheering you guys on. Like Dreamcast dude, if you want to play that, I'll be right there watching you play. I love watching your streams when you do them. So yeah, man, I like watching people play these games. I'm not going to play them myself, but watching them is great. I think they're great streaming games. And that's the integration with Twitch, right? It's so cool to be able to watch that live content and be able to watch your favorite streamers do stuff. So for me, it's great that these games are coming because they make great streaming games. So I can't wait to watch a lot of you guys play them.
Okay. And yeah, it sounds like that. For anyone curious, the Battlefield developers and producers and everything seem very scared of loot box backlash, so they're going to stay clear of it affecting the gameplay, from what we're hearing. So keep that in mind. It sounds like it's going to be mostly cosmetic stuff, nothing to do with gameplay. Which I guess is good. So we'll see how that goes. Call of Duty got away with it last year, so expect them. They might be pushing the envelope. They might catch a little bit of Battlefront pushback if they're not careful. Mm-hmm. So we'll see what happens in that case. So the other thing, this is another good one, OJ, because I know you were talking to somebody on Twitter about this. Call of Duty Black Ops 4 was not announced for the Switch. Now. Mm-mm. My theory for this when I saw that was if it's happening, if any kind of Call of Duty, it's probably getting its own Call of Duty, even a remake. I thought it'd be a remake of something like Modern Warfare 2 because they remake Modern Warfare 1, and they could just put that on the Switch. But a lot of people were expecting Call of Duty on the Switch this year. What's your take on that exactly?
Yeah, man. Just because I've got a couple of people that I really trust that said, you know what, it's coming. You know what I'm saying? One that I super trust, which is Direct Feed. I don't think he'd lie. He's confirmed it with a couple ones. So whether it's a different game altogether or whether it's their own version, I'm thinking it's that. You can maybe relate this back to 2013. Call of Duty Ghosts was just not announced for the Wii U. They announced it I think during the NBA finals or whatever, and then they kept on asking about the Wii U version or if it's coming to Wii U, and they're just like, we can't talk about it. Oh no. And then months later, all of a sudden, Call of Duty Ghosts is coming to the Wii U. It was just weird. It was months and months after they were revealed for PS3, 360, I think PS4 and Xbox One. I'm not 100% sure, but they just didn't reveal it for the Wii U at the time. So it could be that type of situation. I'm not really sure. But I mean, I would think some sort of Call of Duty is coming, whether it's a remaster of some old one or something like that. But we'll have to wait and see. Maybe the sources were just wrong. Maybe it's next year. You know,
I will say I was right. Everybody told me I was wrong. I specifically said they want Call of Duty on Switch. I don't think it's going to be their World War II. Or I specifically said that Black Ops 4 would not be on Switch, and everyone was like, "No, you're wrong." Well, so far I'm correct in my own way. So far. I got to put that little asterisk on there.
I mean, it's possible that they could have. These people are hearing about Call of Duty. Maybe they heard about a Call of Duty that's in development, because these things stay in development for 3+ years sometimes. So it's possible they heard about one that's either a spin-off and it's its own game, like a remake, or it's just one that's not coming out till next year.
Yeah, we'll just deal with the fact that Marcus Sellers specifically said that Black Ops 4 is coming to Switch and will have motion controls.
No. Like I said, E3, I'll at least let them talk at E3. And then, if we come out at the other end of E3 with no Call of Duty on the Switch, well, there you go. We probably won't have one then, because at that point, it's pretty much the sprint to the holidays.
Yeah.
So I'll at least give them E3, You never know. So I'll at least give them that.
It'd be a good surprise. Nintendo really loves to end their shows with a big surprise now. So it would definitely be an interesting development if they came out on stage, did their whole presentation for Metroid or whatever, and at the very end they're also like, by the way, Call of Duty Blops is coming. People will be like, what?
And then so the one thing we learned,
just real quick, I just want to sorry about that. One thing, I guess, back in 2013, so it was announced for the Wii U in July, at the very end of July for the Wii U, and I think they originally announced it, I think, back in May or something. So it was announced months afterwards. So I just wanted to let people kind of give people the time frame. 2013 at the end of July it just randomly announced.
So
away from the other
then
versions.
E3 would actually kind of match up for that timetable then, since they announced it a little earlier this year.
Yeah. So E3, I mean, but then again, it could go past E3.
That just seems dangerous to get it announced that close.
Yeah,
I mean, I guess. I mean,
July,
because it's also coming sooner than it was at that point too, you know. So if they announce it in July and it's like it's out in October, it's out in 2 months or something. That's kind of dangerous. I mean, I guess they could.
It will sell. I mean, they can risk it and it'll still sell.
I mean, Call of Duty sells no matter what. Let's be real here. They could do it. They would have to release a horribly broken game for it not to sell.
Actually, no, it would probably still sell. Yeah.
I think everybody would buy because the casual market's so odd. It's people who buy the things they recognize without doing research.
Well, here's the interesting thing. It is going head to head with Battlefield this year. I have a feeling Battlefield's going to launch also before Red Dead. So I think they're just trying to get out ahead of Red Dead. And that's the interesting thing. I think Red Dead Redemption's release date being pushed back in the year kind of threw a monkey wrench into Black Ops and Battlefield's plans, Activision, I should say, and EA's, because since when does Call of Duty launch in early October?
Yeah.
When does that happen?
I seriously cannot remember that ever happening. So it's definitely everybody is running from that release date right now.
Yeah, Red Dead is it's not something that happens very often, but that could badly hurt their bottom line going through the holidays. So they're like, you know what, we're gonna get whatever we can in the first 2 weeks, I guess, and then at that point we'll just see if we can hold our head above water for Red Dead Redemption until December. That's something. It's amazing how much power Rockstar has with some of their IPs. Be able to push other ones around.
They are the scary gods of gaming.
Smart move though on their end. I mean, it kind of sucks for the developers because I mean now crunch time is like it's even harder. Obviously, like they're already scrambling at the end. I'm pretty sure you guys have all heard the stories of crunch time with developers. It's not fun, especially for games like that. So that really sucks. But I'm hopefully they make it through it. Hopefully they make it through. We can get the game out. So that it sucks for the developers, but you gotta do what you gotta do, right? So
well, Black Ops 4 is out October 12th, so we'll see if anything else pops up about that. We'll learn about Battlefield, I believe, at E3. They've already confirmed to their investors that is happening, Battlefield 2018. So I guess look for a stacked October right now, right? Stacked. 3 big games like that, and then who knows what else could be coming from third parties like Ubisoft, and then who knows if Nintendo has a big launch for that. I mean, Fire Emblem will show up in October at this point, so hard to say there. So did you guys want to move on to the Nintendo Direct? We can go through it and kind of go through it bit by bit here and just kind of give our thoughts on all the different announcements. Let's start, and this is actually in order. This is very handy. The 3DS got about 6 minutes. And before we get into this, actually, I'll go through them real quick. WarioWare Gold, August 3rd. Dylan's Dead Heat Breakers, May 24th. eShop only. Mario and Luigi Inside Story, Bowser Jr.'s Journey, that's 2019. Detective Pikachu is March 23rd, so in about 2 weeks that'll be out. Luigi's Mansion for the 3DS sometime this year, just 2018. It's the remake, of course, of the GameCube version going to the 3DS. Now, Max, you made a video talking about how you're thinking Nintendo should be gravitating away from the 3DS, even possibly just dropping it and let the third parties build for it.
I'll strongly stand by that. So here's my thinking, and 100%, I know literally thousands of people are saying I'm wrong, but here's my thinking, however flawed it is. All the PlayStation consoles have been extremely popular, humongous bestsellers, and most recently, obviously, we had the changeover from the PS3 to the PS4. There was only about 6 months of overlap. Sony finished the games that they had already made, and they immediately jumped to developing stuff and pushing all their people to jump over to the PS4. And so because of it, the PS4 had some extremely massive support, both third party and first party, the second that console came out. They did not keep releasing stuff at the PlayStation 3. And obviously, people like me kept our PlayStation 3 hooked up for like a year, but eventually you only need your PlayStation 4. And I feel like the fact that we are still getting support for the 3DS is interesting, and I'm glad they're making money. But as a fan, it just drives me nuts to see them going back to their 7-year-old handheld and making more and more and more like spin-offs.
Okay. OJ, you had a thought on that too.
Yeah, as a fan, for me, I don't really see much like why people are even getting upset. Like, there's really nothing like a Luigi's Mansion remake. I mean, it's like
I would have liked to have seen that go to the Switch. I think that'd be kind of cool.
It just doesn't seem like it's much, though. That's the only thing that it doesn't seem like it's really much at all. Like, literally everything is coming to Switch.
It's
everything.
the focus that annoys me. The fact that this direct was so jammed packed, and they spent 6 minutes being like, "Hey guys, you know that thing your grandma bought you in 2011? Well, here it is."
I just don't think 6 minutes is that long when there's like it's a 34-minute. They spent 6 minutes.
That is, yeah.
Are you also thinking about their development teams behind the scenes as well, Max? I thought you talked about that as well. Yeah. How they're not split heavily, but they are kind of split. Are you thinking, Max, more along the lines of what if the development teams didn't have to really work on the 3DS and could focus everything on the Switch?
Because let's face it, the teams that are doing this are probably incredibly tiny. We're talking 10-man teams at most. I mean, porting stuff is difficult, but a lot of what they're releasing is really small stuff. I'm just annoyed that I just want every hand on deck. Like, the Switch has managed to win me over. Last night, I literally, after I finished editing my Darwin review, I ended up just playing Splatoon 2 for about 4 hours. And I was just so in love with the new music and the new levels. And it just kind of annoys me. It's like, man, why is anybody working on the 3DS when this freaking masterpiece of a gadget is right here already freaking winning over hearts, minds, and dollars?
I see where you're coming, dude. From as a fan, I see where you're coming. It's just like, see, me, I have like a little daughter that I play Switch with her and everything, but she has a 3DS of her own. And like she still plays games on there. And I know that there's tons of other people that aren't going to give their kid a Switch to play. You know what I'm saying? And I just feel that if you have younger kids, which I do have a kid, and I know there's other people that I know that have kids. They're not giving their kids Switches.
Yeah.
I mean, just to have just something, at least one good game or a couple good games just so the 3DS so they can play. I don't have as much of a problem with it just because there's so much coming to the Switch. But I get it from someone, you're looking about, yourself as a fan. I totally get it from that aspect. That's why I liked your video. I said, hey, don't worry about people that are, kind of coming at, because I know people are kind of coming at you.
They're coming at me hard, but so much. Everybody's reasoning is so interesting. So there was one term that somebody used that I really wanted to throw to you guys because it blew my mind. Is somebody called me a Switch elitist. Apparently, people in the Nintendo community are now using this term for the people like me who want Nintendo to basically throw away all their old hardware. Because I will go so far as to say that I think that they should full stop completely just ignore the 3DS. I know that's
such a horrible business decision.
I want to remind the people who did super chat. I'll be reading them at 10:30 for you guys. Don't worry. I
agree. I think for us as fans that would be great, but as a leader like Tatsumi Kimishima, that would be such a bad decision if they did that.
Okay, then I'm curious, how long do y'all think they should support this old thing? Like, at what point do they fully move on?
When people stop buying stupid system.
I imagine here, I think there's actually a number in mind for them, because right now what they have a Switch that's probably around 18 million. I'd say, I think that's a fair estimate right now. And then I have a 3DS on the other side that's like 70 million. I'd say even 71 million right now. So I think they have in mind, they're like, all right, when the Switch hits 30 million, we can move away from the 3DS. I mean, they've already kind of started moving away from it. They've shown less and less 3DS at each direct. I remember was it last year? There was a direct that we had, and 3DS was like half the thing. And I was like, ooh. And then now we're down to 6 minutes. I think it is, slowing down to the point where they're not going to keep making as many games. But I think there's a number in mind for their Switch. And then they have like, all right, then we can start working around mostly Switch and barely any 3DS stuff, especially when Pokemon makes that jump. That might even be what they're waiting on right now, because Pokemon is only available on the 3DS right now. So I think when Pokemon releases on the Switch, I think they'll feel comfortable. Okay, we don't need to continue focusing anything really on the 3DS.
I'm looking at the sales of it, and I'm just like, I'm thinking if I was the president, and I'm like, we're literally getting away with, like, we're selling this thing for how much is $150 for the
on the highest end. Let's be honest, the lowest end is $70 for a 2DS, which is
most people buy that new Nintendo 2DS. That's the one that's been selling. So Nintendo's selling this really old, kind of crappy device for $150. I'm thinking they're thinking such good profit. Like, we're not going to drop this until people just say we don't want it. In January 2018, they had their best sales January like ever or something like that. Or it blows my mind that they had their best.
Well,
sales.
I think it's also because, again, Pokemon's there. I'm curious what happens if people really move on to the next big Pokemon, especially if it's that revamp that's rumored right now.
Oh,
yeah. Okay.
So
I'm curious about that, really.
I want to highlight somebody in chat here because honestly, I feel like this is a really ridiculous thing to say. Max is complaining that the 3DS is old hardware and they should stop releasing games for it. Then in the same breath complains that there's no virtual console. That's because the Switch is new and needs new things. Okay, so that's the difference is you need everything on the Switch, including virtual console. Like, I wish people would realize that's what I'm saying is I want the Switch to be everything. I'm not saying kill the 3DS because it sucks. I'm saying kill the 3DS to focus on the Switch. I mean, your chat's hating me right now.
No, yeah.
Well, there's also people backing you up as well. There's people who are like, I want the Switch. It's interesting because your video had, I think it was mostly 50-50, honestly.
Yeah, not now. Now I think there's like 50 more dislikes than there is likes.
Oh, really?
No, I thought your video was fine. It's your opinion, so I think people shouldn't be coming after you so hard.
Yeah, well, at least everybody is being respectable. Even these people calling me out in chat, everybody is being very, very respectable. Like, I just want to say a million times over, I really like that cumulatively, we all have such it feels like an educated audience. I feel like nobody is ever just like, how about I choke you with a 3DS? No, it's all being like, excuse me, dumbass. Let me chat about sales.
Chat has a I know it's super chat. I said I'd read him later, but Chat actually has a very good point for this conversation, saying Nintendo made the Wii U only when the Wii stopped selling, but the Switch, if you remember, came out early because the Wii U didn't sell, and which means it's kind of cutting into the 3DS life even a bit there, you know. It's very possible that maybe ran over it by a year even, you know, because maybe the 3DS really is done towards the end of even mid 2019 or even towards the end of it. Like maybe we don't see much of anything of 3DS at next year's E3.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like you're dead on, Spawnwave, when it comes to the Pokemon is going to be the gravestone of like, all right, this thing's still moving, but once we put out Pokemon Switch, everybody's going to jump over, and at that point we can just finally shove that thing into the grave.
Is there anything else, OJ, that's left there? Like, let's say they have the Fire Emblem moved over, they have the Smash Bros moved over, and then they have Pokemon. Is there anything really left on the 3DS that we might be missing that would be keeping that alive?
There's nothing in terms of like Nintendo first party. In terms of third party, there's like one. It's like Yokai Watch, and like that's
the interesting thing.
Yeah.
What if Nintendo left the 3DS? They kept selling it, right? Because they make money on that hardware, and then they're going to make money on licensing fees. What if they just left it as a third-party device that you have Atlas, you know, and even other companies
Atlas is getting ready to I think Atlas. This is their last wave, though, for Atlas, right? I think Persona Q2 is going to be pretty much the last wave. They had the Shin Megami Tensei Redux. They had Radiant Historia. I think this is their last wave, and then I think that they're moving on based on some of the stuff that they've just kind of hinted at. It looks like they're going to be moving on. With that, Persona Q2 might be Persona Q2. That might be the last wave in terms of what they're doing in games. So even if you left it just for third parties, I don't think there's going to be anybody there. Like 3DS, you know, I'm going to talk about this more in a little bit, or like in a different stuff on my channel. But dude, like this is the most disrespected and just trash system of all time. Like people they just hate this thing. I mean, even third parties, like Western developers, just said screw it. You know, I mean, even the DS had so much more support. GBA had so much more support, but like everyone just kind of like hates this system.
I mean, keep in mind the 3DS also has all those DS games technically to its name.
That's true. That's true.
Something a lot of people brought up to me that I honestly didn't think about, the fact that a lot of people are still keeping their 3DS XL around because it actually has virtual console. Since the Switch doesn't have virtual console and there's still stuff coming to eShop even today, people are still using virtual console because that's just one of the best ways to play Super Nintendo games on the go right now, which is something I didn't think about. It's like, unfortunately, that is the only way to access that particular Nintendo service right now.
1,400 people in here. Thanks for joining us despite Goku mastering Ultra Instinct last week, and now he's going to mess up Jiren. Let me just quickly let you guys know we're here with RGT85, PlayerEssence, and DreamcastGuy. So make sure you guys are checking them out. Sean, you kind of got ran over there for a bit. What are you thinking about 3DS versus Switch, man?
Man, I'm just me personally.
There's a safe space. You can say what you want.
I see both sides of the coin. I see Max's opinion. I see OJ's opinion. You know, as a consumer, as a Switch enthusiast, I don't like, you know, new stuff like Luigi's Mansion. Luigi's Mansion is so weird because they did, you know, the sequel Dark Moon on the 3DS, and now they're releasing the original one. You would think they would have done it the other way around. But, you know, I would have liked to have seen that on the Switch. But then again, you know, maybe it's sort of prepping for Luigi's Mansion 3, so they're trying to get people, you know, remembering Luigi's Mansion like they do with re-releases. You know, it doesn't appeal to me. You know, I don't care about WarioWare on the 3DS. I'm sure it'll be fun, but I don't play my 3DS really anymore. There's no reason for me to, because I don't know, that screen is
it's so hard, isn't it? You look at that Switch screen and then you look at the 3DS screen and you're like, oh.
I want to say that I agree with you. Just one thing, I agree with Max. I'm a Switch fan, you know, I don't play my 3DS either, you know what I'm saying? So I agree with you based on that. I agree with both of what you guys just said. I just want to make sure I let everyone know that. Not that I'm saying that, no, they should just put everything on.
You're coming from the business standpoint.
Yeah.
It's hard to be like, people are giving us money for this thing. So
$150 for this thing. Like, I don't know how they're getting away with charging $150 for that thing, man.
And it's basically all profit. Like they're building that thing for so cheap. It's basically every one they sell, they're probably making $130 profit, which on a system is insane.
And then like, there's a $200 one. There's the new Nintendo 3DS XLs. Those ones are still $199. You know,
wait, Dragon Ball Super isn't on this week? Oh man, now I'm disappointed. I mean, I guess it's daylight. I don't know.
I guess it's daylight savings.
I don't know. Like technically, right now where I am, it's like 10:51.
They jump right over him.
Man, that's I gotta start paying attention to what? Huh?
Do we do that tonight?
Yeah. So I gotta start paying attention to geekdom more. I didn't realize.
Dude, Sean, you work from home now. What are you complaining about?
I'm still losing an hour, damn it.
Losing an hour for what? You make your own schedule. He's still in the mode that he has to get up and go work for someone else. That's it, man.
You're not wrong.
It's more annoying than anything else. So, okay, so let's go down the list here for the Switch announcements as we go. They did there's a free character update for Kirby Star Allies coming that includes some older allies, including Rick from Dreamland 2, the big hamster guy. And is anyone getting Kirby next week? I'm getting it because I actually do like Kirby. Is anyone else getting it next week?
If they send me a copy, I'm planning on reviewing it. But right now, I'm one of those people. I don't really like the Kirby games. Like they're one of those things that if they're in front of me, I'll play them and I'll like it, but I don't crave them.
Oh, that's fair. That's fair. I think I'm probably gonna end up buying it. I don't know if there's only one. I'm probably just gonna end up buying it then. What about Sean or OJ?
Yeah, I'm getting a code for it, so.
No, I don't know if I'm getting one.
And all that, but then I still got. I just found out that I'm getting a code for it, and then on top of that, my community, I asked for a poll based on what you guys want to play, and they bought me the game too. So I don't know what I'm gonna. So I have 2 copies of the game. So
does that have It doesn't have online co-op.
No online, just local.
Oh man, that's
yeah.
That hurts.
$47.99 at Amazon though. So
yeah, I mean that's gonna be fun for couch stuff, but man, that feels like a missed opportunity for some reason. Oh man,
absolutely. I would have liked online play.
Yeah, I mean, why not? You know, even if you're not going to use it, it's like, why not?
I would have liked that. I thought it would have really added a nice element to the game. You know, if you can do online play, I think it would have been cool. But it's not in there.
Thank you, Lycon and Nix for the super chat. We'll be reading those at 10:30 p.m. So stick around or come on back if you got to run. Yeah, that hurts. I just would have liked it. That would actually been a fun game that like we could have all even played together on like a video podcast at some point or something.
It's number 3 in overall video games on Amazon right now.
No, I'm not saying it's not going to sell. I'm still buying it. But.
Excuse me, it's the highest selling game on Amazon right now. The other 2 things ahead of it are PlayStation Store cards.
Yeah. I mean, I don't doubt it. Like I said,
that's crazy though. I didn't think it would be that.
No, I kind of knew it would because of the in Japan, it's doing really well in the pre-order charts as well. So I was thinking, okay, in Japan it's doing really well. I knew it was going to do well here.
They're going to push 200 to 300,000 somewhere in there on media crates when it first comes out. Somewhere in there. I mean, it could be 250. I'd be impressive at push 300,000. It'll be somewhere in there the first week though.
You want to know what's crazy?
What's that?
Out of the first 20 things, the only video games, not controllers, not eShop or gift cards, are all Switch games.
There's a bunch of Nintendo fanboys on Amazon. Don't trust those charts, man.
That's best selling. Shit. I gotta buy the shit.
Thanks, Daniel. I see that. Again, we'll be reading at 10:30 p.m. Appreciate it. Okay, so Kirby is it's somewhere on there. I mean, I'm gonna have fun with it. And Evan, we might even do some couch co-op on that. But it's
we
Sean
do that.
we'll probably do it too.
We gotta get Sean down. We can do some three-way stuff.
Oh, what? No. Oh yeah, okay, yeah.
Nice. That's why I moved closer. I got it.
So we'll be playing that. I kind of, see, like if we had like online co-op, we could have had like a 4-man team for Kirby, between like us and then Max or us and OJ, whoever's around at the time on. That's a shame. I don't know if they could ever patch that into the game, but that would be really cool to see.
They could, but they're not going to.
Yeah.
It's obviously the budget for this game, which I think is probably salivating, is like, we didn't spend that much, but we're gonna make a ton on it, Yeah. So
that's I see that as like a one of their mid-tier games.
Yeah, it's definitely. I would even say it's almost like a C, It's definitely like a C tier, B-ish, C to B, somewhere in between C plus-ish.
I will say I had fun with the demo though. It's a fun game. So
it's great. But I'm just talking like in terms of like production, like the game looks great graphically, but I mean like if they really wanted to, that should be 1080p 60. If they really wanted to really just kind of go in, but it's not. It's I don't know what the resolution is, but it's 30. And I think that they could have, if they really wanted to spend the time and more development budget on it, they could have got it to 60. I don't think it's a game that couldn't be at that, but we'll just do it at this.
The menus are at 60 strangely. Very weird.
Gotta have those silky smooth menus.
Silky smooth menus.
Next, the sound volume is fluid.
Next game up is Okami HD Summer 2018. If you have not played Okami and you've been like, maybe I'll get it at some point, buy it. It's an awesome game. In fact, they should be adding that character to Smash Bros. We'll get to that eventually. But Okami HD is coming summer 2018. That is a game that people saw it announced on the PS4, Xbox One, and PC. And the first thing, if you guys remember, why isn't this on the Switch? Do you guys remember that? It was one of those games where I looked on Twitter and I was like, of course, because I remember I put up and I was like, Okami HD is coming to PS4, Xbox One, and PC, and like some of the replies under it were like, "Why is it on the Switch?" I don't know.
I told people just like, can you guys just chill? Like, just wait, just chill. The Switch, it came out not at the same time as the other systems. Just relax. It's PortCom. They will port all of their, as long as the Switch is successful, they will eventually port all of their crap to the
It is digital
Switch.
only as well for the Switch. People were asking in the comments.
Yeah, it's digital only.
What sort of bullshit is that?
Dude, call up limited run games, man.
That's not bad.
Yeah. So that's coming summer 2018. I seriously, I recommend. It's a great game if you have, maybe you're a little younger and you missed it on the PS2. It will have touch functionality, and it will also have motion controls as well.
It's a hell of a game.
Yeah.
Or if you missed it on the Wii or the PS3. Because it was on those ones as well.
It's been on everything. It's Capcom.
Yeah, it's Capcom. That's what I told people. I'm like, you guys really think they're not going to port? It's been on everything, every single generation since the PS2. It's came out. Like,
but there's always new generation of gamers coming up. So maybe you got your Switch and you're 10 or 11 or whatever. Okami is a good game to pick up. It is.
Oh, absolutely, pick it up. I beat it. I beat it a number of times. I think it's fantastic. I think
it's gonna be $20 too. So
it feels very Zelda-ish. Like art style wise, that confuses people a lot, but once you start playing it, it feels a lot like Wind Waker in my opinion. So I feel like it's going to sell really well on the Switch.
That was on a lot of people's Game of the Year list back in the day, wasn't it?
It caused a fight, almost like maybe almost a physical fight at IGN back in the day between Matt Casamassina and the guys there. So it was a very hotly debated topic. Which one's Game of the Year? Legend of Zelda: Twilight Princess versus Okami. So
I remember that.
Yeah.
So let's see what was next. I have my little list here. Then we had Sushi Striker, also on 3DS. I don't know if how interesting that looked to everybody when it was kind of sandwiched around the next game, which we'll talk about that I'm really excited for. That's Sushi Striker is June 8th though.
I was a bit surprised that was even part of the presentation, to be perfectly honest with you. Okay. Like no disrespect towards the game or anything, but it just compared to everything else, it felt a bit out of place.
Are you doubting Sushi Striker?
I'm doubting it.
Yeah.
Are you sleeping on a sushi shack?
It's a sushi gate, people. Prepare yourself.
Well, dude, the next game is I think this is the game I'm most excited for right now. Mostly because we haven't really seen a lot of. I mean, I know everyone's excited for Smash Bros, but this is the game for me right now, and that's Octopath Traveler, July 13th.
Yes.
And they even gave us a really cool looking special edition. It has a full pop-up book and everything, so they're going all out with that big special edition. I think it even comes with like a replica of like the currency, a gold coin or currency or something in there. I have to double check, but I know the pop-up book was the big thing.
I thought I saw a big map, and I freaking love maps.
Yeah. It does come with a coin. It comes with the replica, like the same style of like money and the print of the coin. You do get a replica of one of them.
Yes, Octopath Traveler looks like an awesome game. We've played the demo. I really like the look of it. They did that survey. Over 1 million people, I think, played the demo, and even and a lot of them submitted information as to bugs and how they think the game could be better. And apparently, they took all that to heart, read it, tweaked the game, and it basically got its own little beta, and it seems to be ready to roll. I mean, you don't usually get betas for single player games like these, so kind of interesting to see that. But yeah, July 13th, I was very happy to hear it was a summer release, not a fall release.
Yes.
Much sooner than I thought. So that's about a month after E3 hits. So we're about 4 months out from that. I'm buying that day one instantly.
Yeah, I already got mine I got mine pre-ordered, the special edition on Amazon. So looking forward to it.
I'm excited for that game. Sean, you in?
Oh yeah, I'm in.
All right, cool. Very good. That's gonna be a fun game. And it's the team for mostly. It looks very Bravely Default like, right? And that's pretty much why.
Yeah.
So
it's like a mixture of Square Enix's, some of Square Enix's younger staff, and some of the staff of Bravely Default. So it's a bit of more of a mixture than Bravely Default was. Definitely, it's not so much Silicon Studio. It's more of Square's staff too that's on this one. So that's good.
Okay, very good. Yeah, I'm in on that. Absolutely, no sweat. And then let's see, we have Travis Strikes Again, No More Heroes 2018. Saw some interesting gameplay. Almost like it was almost like an isometric kind of right look. I mean, it's supposed to shift between games you go into, I think.
Depending on what game you play.
Yeah. I mean, they showed us more, but it's still confusing, I think, to a lot of people. It's still like, I think we're at this point, whenever it comes out, which is still coming out this year, 2018. That's when we'll actually know what we're playing, I think. I don't think they can explain it to us. Suda 51 is just too far out there.
Yeah. What I kind of saw it as, it's like because if you play the No More Heroes games, like they always have mini games that are a huge part of the game. Like whether you need to get the upgrades and all that. So I think they just said, well, let's just take some of the stuff that we've done and actually make it more of an action game within those mini games that we've done, and then let's just kind of put that together as a normal game, then put bosses at the end of that, like you go through. So I think that's what they're trying to go for. And oh my gosh, is Sean gonna die?
Just mute, don't chew in your mic this time, please.
You get more Shadow of the Colossus memes on Twitter, dude. You guys see the super chat? Thank you, Dan Miller. Again, we're reading them at 10:30 p.m. It's about half an hour. Hopefully, we're through the Nintendo Direct by then. Yeah, and then the next one up. Let me see. We have one that I think even Evan can chime in on here. Dark Souls Remastered with the Solaire amiibo, May 25th.
Yes.
Yes. Was anyone even able to get the amiibo? I saw people going nuts on Twitter over this thing.
Yeah, my buddy Joe managed to do some weird loophole where you have to like call the store and put in an online pre-order or something because it sold out in like apparently it was like 5 hours. But if you didn't do it in that first 5 hours, every single one.
I feel like the people over at From Software were kind of like, huh, okay, then this amiibo sold out that fast. Yeah, amiibos in 2018 still very popular, apparently. So there you go.
Especially that stupid looking amiibo like that. I mean,
Praise the Sun is the meme.
Well, and that's one of the most cosplayed things I see all the time, which is people being the Praise the Sun guy and holding up Sun-Kissed and stuff.
I pre-ordered mine, man. I had to. It looks stupid, but hey, man, I pre-ordered it because it looks so dumb. So.
Yeah, that's interesting. Evan, are you getting Dark Souls Remastered? Did you play the first one on the PC? Because that thing was junk.
I played the first one, but I only played it after the fans, or was it one of the programmers? Someone put out that major. Yeah, they put out that patch that just fixed everything.
The free labor workers that they didn't. Yeah. Okay, yeah. Were you looking into that at all? I think they should have given this to the PC users for free. To be honest, I think this should have been a free update to the one they put out. I think they're just giving a discount. I don't even know if you're really that interested in it now.
I mean, probably, but this is one of those games where it's been so long since I first played it that I cannot care about playing it again. Like, I'm not that interested.
That's fair enough. Yeah, that's fair enough.
That's fair.
I think it's gonna be interesting when it shows up on the Switch just to see how it sells there. And I think this is a game that's gonna be fascinating to see on a Tegra on a mobile platform. Because I know Max, I even asked you about it. I said, which one do you think you'll buy it on? Right,
yeah, dude. My hype for this game. I feel like the more I think about it, like today, obviously, I was shopping at a bunch of comic book stores, and for some reason, I just kept thinking about the fact that we're freaking getting Dark Souls on the Switch. Something about that just seems like such a landmark occasion because these games are really dark, really messed up, have some really morbid art styles and crazy good combat. Seeing that run on the Switch feels like a really big deal to me. I'm really hyped.
I'm hoping it's close to like as good of a quality as any of the older systems with the older version of the game, because it is a precision game, and if they can nail it, that's fantastic. But that's that's what we got to see.
Apparently, it's 1080 and 720 at 30 frames per second. Now, how locked is that? We'll see. But they are shooting for, I guess, what it was when it first came out. I think the other systems will be 60 frames per second. So if you're looking for that, but it is going to be interesting to see it running on a handheld, essentially. So that's going to be interesting to see. Sean, what are you thinking about this Dark Souls? You getting it?
Oh yeah, I'm gonna buy it. I was just looking at it on Amazon, and
this dude's Amazon surfing.
I'm just saying, the Switch version is the 42nd highest selling game. The Xbox One version is 942, and the PS4 is what was it? 124. So I mean, people are looking forward to it. I mean, I'm looking forward to it.
At one point, Sean, it was actually in the top, like when it was in the top 6 for like multiple days, like for like a whole week. It was just the Switch version was selling like on Amazon, at least on Amazon. I think it'll do well too. I think people want to have that style of game.
No, yeah, it'll definitely do well. That's not a problem. But like right now, I'm still trying to 100% Dead Cells. Like I 100%ed Dark Souls, so like I'm not gonna go back and do that again.
Oh, absolutely.
What's interesting here is they're going to be pushing basically what sounds like a network test beta, basically a beta.
Yeah.
So that's interesting.
I wonder if that's just the Switch version or if all versions.
No,
I know it's all of them.
It's everything but PC. Yeah. I specifically looked up and people are mad about that. So like the people who are actually interested in maybe buying it again on PC are kind of like, cool, screw you too, bro.
Yeah, dude, they're really bad to that PC community, man. They're really bad about that. I don't know what that's about. And it makes you concerned a little bit if you're on the PC, because you're like, well, why don't they want us to look at it before it comes out? You know, they burned us once. So
right, yeah. I think they're probably worried about data miners going in there and seeing what's what's really in there, what's been added.
That's a good point.
Pre-ordered it.
It sounds like ordering on. Next up is a game that I'm actually pretty excited for because I like the Mario Tennis series from the GameCube. It kind of fell off since then.
Virtual Boy Mario Tennis was great. It was a great game.
It is. I put about 50
the best
hours
versions were on the Game Boy, man. Come on. That had like full RPG and everything.
GBA for me, man. I want the GBA one.
Yeah,
dude.
You're not.
So, I mean, the Wii U is probably the worst version. I assume everyone understands that, right?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So they're going to redeem themselves here because I will say it looks like they're adding a lot to it. I actually thought they were adding a little too much. Like we're breaking people's rackets and stuff. I was like, But then they say you can turn that off and just play like basically GameCube style Mario Tennis. I'm like, all right, cool. I can turn that off if I want, or I can leave it on. Interesting that you can do all the stuff where you stop and you aim and all this stuff. And I'm like, all right, you know what? If I play, I'm probably going to turn all that stuff off and we're just going to play straight up, you know? Like in Mario Strikers, we would always turn off items straight up. Like, so that's something. But it looks like visually it looks good. The gameplay looks solid, I think. So it looks like it cannot be worse than the Wii U version at this point.
I think it looks really good, honestly. I think it's a return to, no pun intended, a return to form for the series because, I mean, after you know, Mario Tennis on the Wii U was kind of like, even though I liked Star Fox Zero, personally, I know a lot of people didn't. It sort of was like, you know, Mario Tennis Wii U was like what Star Fox was on the Wii U. Like, could be the drive, you know, the dagger into the heart, like, because that game, I mean, both games are just so, you know, like, you know, this isn't what it should be. So I'm glad to see that they're coming out with this game. I think it looks good. The presentation may have gone on a little bit too long for it, but I mean, it makes sense because that is one of the next big games for the system.
Yeah, it's their next big release. Yeah, you're absolutely right.
So I'm on board with it. I think it'll be good.
Okay. Evan, you mostly played Mario Strikers with me. You didn't really play tennis, right?
Striker. Well, no, I didn't play the older tennises, but
yeah.
I mean, you know that I love battle games. I mean, you and me and Windjammers, it's just ridiculous. But this game does look pretty awesome. I'm interested in the mechanic they have with the building of the stand bar when you do the special moves and then using it at certain points in time defensively or offensively. That's a great idea. I'm hoping it works out and that like one form of being either offensive or defensive doesn't play better than the other, so we'll have to see how that balances out. I'm pretty sure they'll do it right. But that's definitely something we got to play a lot of because I love battle games.
Online too, full tournaments, everything. They're actually gonna have a pre-launch tournament at some point. We don't know when, but that is happening. So there will again be another beta for a game. They have a lot of betas for their games recently. I'm noticing this. Which is probably a good thing. Honestly, you can try the game out. So.
No joke. I noticed that when the Direct ended, almost every single thing they showed at this Direct that wasn't a freaking 3DS game is actually going to have a beta or has a demo already.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's a good thing. That's kind of like how I like that we can try the games out before. I think most games should have it, honestly, in this day and age when you can kind of get burned on some of these games and then they go, oh, we'll fix it later through live services. It's a little worrying sometimes. So I like that. Captain Toad is coming over, Treasure Tracker, July 13th, also on the 3DS. So if you missed out, that was actually I think the game kind of went under the radar a bit on the Wii U.
And it was so good.
It was super good, yeah.
So if you're looking forward to that, it is also coming out on the 3DS and the Switch. So keep in mind.
And they got the new content, the Super Mario Odyssey levels.
Yeah, that's gonna be interesting. I'm really curious to see how that sells. I know people are saying it's a port, but it's still a great game that did not sell that well. I don't think it sold as well as it should have. I'll say
it
that.
sold over 1 million, but people need to realize that it's a port, but nobody bought Wii U.
Yeah.
Like do people not realize how many people did not buy Wii U? I think people sometimes they think that, oh well, we're all Nintendo fans, we all got Wii U. No, a lot of Nintendo fans didn't buy Wii U. Millions upon millions of Nintendo fans did not buy Wii U. Like it was bad, guys. So just
have y'all heard the story about when the director of Captain Toad was trying to explain the game to his boss? He thought it was a board game. There's like a story. He went to his boss and was like, okay, so I have an idea for a 2D style Mario game where you play as Toad, and to interact with 3D environments, things need to raise and lower and you solve puzzles. And they literally were like, oh, okay, so there's going to be a board game. And it took him like 30 minutes to like, no, like a video game like that plays like a board game with Toad as the hero. And finally like, oh, okay, yeah, you can make that.
We have Undertale is next, just sometime. No release date, although they apparently are using the Game Maker software to move that over, which was interesting to hear because they just signed a deal with Nintendo to make that export to the Switch now. So that's kind of interesting to see. But Undertale, I was a little surprised. Honestly, that one caught me off guard a little bit. Not necessarily that it's able to be, go to the Switch or anything. I just thought it was interesting that it just popped up out of nowhere. Like I didn't hear anyone talk about Undertale on the Switch at all.
I feel like as a game, they're trying to make it almost a legacy game. It'll probably come out on everything on into the future just to
it's on Vita and PS4, I believe, right?
Yeah, and PC too.
Yeah, PC, yeah. I mean, they made a big deal when it moved to the PS4 from what I remember.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. It was a huge thing when it came to the PS4, and I remember it actually, from what I read, it sold very high for a PS4. So.
Pretty cool game too. If you've never played Undertale and you maybe just saw it there, and you're like, "What is this?" It's actually a really neat game. Think of the person who made it really liked Earthbound. You can tell in that game that they really did.
My brother was just like freaking out, and I didn't even know he liked it. They're like, Undertale has like these secret fans that just all of a sudden out of nowhere. Oh, I love Undertale.
If you go back to this was the great character bracket debacle on GameFAQs. I don't know how many people remember this. Undertale won, even though it shouldn't have, and people freaked out over this thing.
Oh yeah.
The fans pushed that along, and it won. And I think it actually helped its popularity because it beat things like Ocarina of Time. It beat Smash Bros. Melee. It beat Grand Theft Auto, like the Grand Theft Auto 3. Games that really, I think, Tetris. It beat Tetris. It beat Pokemon Red and Blue. It beat a lot of games that it probably shouldn't have, and that actually set some people off. I think that helped its popularity some. But that was a very interesting time on the internet. Was back then because they had Tumblr was posting to make it happen. Reddit was posting. Everyone came together to push Undertale over this poll that was like on the one part of the internet that not everyone cared about. It was really weird. It was a very weird time. Crash Bandicoot Insane Trilogy, July 10th.
Hyped.
Cool.
Hyped, super hyped. I knew it was going to come. I didn't buy it on PS4.
I mean, I think we all knew. We were all like, it's.
I didn't buy it on PS4. I was like, I'm like, it's coming, man. I think it's coming. So I waited. I'm hyped.
It caught me off guard. I don't know why. I was open-minded to it, but when it popped out, I'll be honest, I was surprised.
We were, I mean, I know OJ's talked about it too. There were so many rumors going around. People talked about it constantly. And I'm like, yeah, if it's that 1 year, honestly, the Xbox port was more surprising to everybody than anything else because that one guy he never mentioned Xbox. You know,
I think didn't we talk about that? And I was like, I couldn't believe. And I said, I don't.
We talked about that
when it not come to Xbox. I didn't believe that wouldn't have happened. I was like, no, I think it's going to come to Xbox too.
Yeah, I think your words, OJ, is after you've ported it to everything else, why not just put it over there as well?
Yeah. So very cool to see it though. A lot of people. This is very interesting because I remember there was a point in time where people said it couldn't run on the Switch, which was very confusing to me because it's not the most graphically intensive game. So I don't really know why that made it. What people should have said was I don't think they could fit it on one cartridge. That's what people should have said.
What's the file size on it?
I think it's over 30 gigabytes now, right?
Yeah.
I thought it was it 30 or 20 something or 30, somewhere in that range.
That'll be
interesting. With patches and everything. I thought it. Max, you looked it up and you said you thought it because when you started downloading it.
Well, it was like 26.8, and then with the patches, it goes up to like 36.
Okay.
Yeah, so I was like, that's the argument people online should have been making is I think the cartridge size will be hard for them to figure out. Maybe that'll be a game that we have to download part of it or something.
Yeah,
or maybe
it's only going to be $40. So
yeah, that's the other thing, and it is $40. So there's no Switch tax. There you go, guys. There's no Switch tax. But what's going to happen is we're going to get that 512 megabyte Capcom card now. We'll probably get the first one right on the cartridge, and maybe the other two, or maybe they can fit the first two on a cartridge, and then the third one you download, something like that.
That's what I'm thinking. Maybe two of them on a cart, and then you download the third one if you want it. I don't know why you wouldn't want the third one too.
Well, honestly, that's not a bad idea because if you get the third one, that means you've played through the first and second one and you like the game enough to do that. So
I love the third one. The third one, in my opinion, one of the best platformers of all time. No exaggeration.
That's the first time the first three Crash Bandicoots have been on a Nintendo platform, right?
Yes,
and Microsoft, right? It was never on Microsoft further. Wow. Did you hear they had to take the Naughty Dog logos out of them?
Yeah, which is understandable.
I thought it was funny.
Yeah, because
big pickup though. Big pickup for honestly everybody. PC as well. Going to PC. Evan, what are you thinking about PC on that? Any thoughts there?
Which one for Crash?
Crash Bandicoot Insane Trilogy, man.
I mean, I played them on PS1 and onward from there. So like, I don't really. It's another one of those things where I don't really need it again. I mean, I guess I could get it just to have it at that point.
You do. They're amazing.
they did do a lot of work to them.
The trick is, I feel like in my life when I was younger, platformers were kind of the thing. I loved that stuff. And then as I got older, I eventually, and this is just personal, it's not something everyone should do. I just moved away from platformers as being interesting. So it just kind of fell out. So I don't know, getting it again, it won't have the same impact or feeling as it did when I was a kid, I think.
I just want to ask a question for Evan real quick, because all the other versions, apparently they could have been 60, but they purposefully put them at 30. So do you think they're going to do the same thing with the PC version? Are they going to make you play at 30?
30 frames. I could
30 frames
I could see that if it's an engine issue.
If it's with the game logic, like Okami.
Yeah. If it goes past that point and stuff starts breaking down, yeah, probably.
Wait, were the original ones at 60?
No, they're at 30. The original, like on PS1.
On the PS1, yeah.
I thought they were. I could have swore they were 30, but maybe I'm wrong.
But
back then, I didn't know about frame rate back then. You know, I just played the game.
I played GoldenEye at 10 frames a second, and I loved it.
Yeah, pretty much. I was like, hey, this game just moves slow when things get intense. I like it.
That's what they should have released WW 2K18 back then. Man, I'm never letting 2K off the hook over that. Oh man. Hopefully I don't see them at E3 at some point.
You will. Now that you said it, just yourself.
Oh, man. Little Nightmares. Did anyone really play Little Nightmares when it came out at all?
Yeah, I beat it.
I missed that one. I don't know.
I liked it. It had a really cool physical edition. And like when I decided, hey, I want that physical edition, it was like sold out everywhere. So I hope they do that on the Switch. It had like it came with like a bunch of extra goodies and like a big ass box and stuff. It looked really cool.
Yeah, a little figurine, I think.
May 18th, Pac-Man Amiibo functionality as well. So maybe I'll check that one out. Was it good, Max?
It's very good. It's
interesting.
It feels almost like an homage to classic 2D Mario. So the whole thing is almost completely a side scroller, and you basically you're trying to go through this giant prison basically, and there's all these mutants that live there and eat everybody they come across. What's weird is the monsters seem very human-like. They look like all mutant humans, and literally you're like sneaking through kitchens where they're cooking children and stuff. So it's almost like a deadly game of hide and seek with a lot of like vertical platforming and stuff. Really good art style wise. I'm hoping they're able to keep it as high resolution as possible, because it's one of those games that has a lot of really tiny detail.
Okay, so that's coming out May 18th. So if anyone's looking to check that out, you have DreamcastGuy's approval on that one.
Heck yeah.
South Park, The Fractured But Whole, seemed to surprise some people. Not everyone. Like I knew this was coming, and OJ, you had to have known this was coming too.
Yeah. It was
Sean, I have a feeling you knew this was coming.
Worst kept secret. One of the worst kept secrets.
Terribly.
Out there.
Yeah, this is not a good, well kept secret. South Park. The one thing I was a little surprised about with this, Stick of Truth is not following it so far. Which was a little weird. I mean, it's not running on Snowdrop. That was kind of its own thing, but it was on 360 and PS3. Maybe that gets like revealed at some point as like a $20 download only game. But I mean, I thought Fractured But Whole kind of follows directly off of that, right? Like,
Yeah, there's even a mission. It takes place one day after, and there's even a mission in the second game where you actually go back to the first game.
Yeah.
So
yeah, like you go back through one of the first game.
Didn't it just come out on, like, I know it came out on PS3 and 360, but didn't it just get released on PS4 and Xbox One as well?
It went backwards compatible on the Xbox One a while ago. I know that.
I think there's a physical edition of it. When I was at Target yesterday, I think I saw an actual box on the shelf now for Stick of Truth on Xbox One.
Yeah, for PS4, Xbox One, not backwards compatibility. Okay.
Yeah, they did make Stick of Truth backwards compatible. I think like on the Xbox One, I think like a year and a half ago, even 2 years ago. So it did go backwards compatible, but they didn't put anything on the shelf until pretty recently, I think. So it's possible it just shows up. Like they could be like, oh yeah, Stick of Truth, physical only, it's $20. I get it, because obviously it costs money to put a Switch game on the shelf. Now at least give people a chance to play through it if you haven't. Honestly though, it's not hard for your PC to run it. If you have I think Intel HD 4000 or up, even like your integrated stuff on your laptop, you can play it. So if you want to just blast through it, it's pretty cheap on Steam. Evan, can you give me a price on that on Steam real quick while I move on?
Which one?
South Park, Stick of Truth.
Stick of Truth. Yeah.
But I think some people were surprised though, because this is a almost an adult rated game essentially.
$30.
$30. Okay, that's not even wait for a Steam sale. It'll probably drop below that. Even.
I bought it for $3.75. So
there you go. South Park did surprise some people because, as strange as it sounds, still Nintendo is still viewed as a game that wouldn't allow that on their system, even though they have they just had L.A. Noire on there. But South Park was a good pickup for the system. It's not even that old still. I mean, it came out in the holiday season, I guess.
Yeah, I think last fall,
late last year. Yeah, it was right before I moved.
April 24th, it's coming out. So it's not.
I'm picking it up.
Good. Okay. Cool. Yeah. Let me know how that goes.
I never played it on the other system, so.
Okay.
I played Stick of Truth. I haven't played the Fractured But Whole because I knew it was coming.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, after a little while, we were all kind of like, "Yeah, this thing's showing up. That's fine."
Yeah. So I'm gonna buy it on PS4, Xbox One.
Yeah. So I might get it, just see how it runs on it and everything. But it is a fun game. It's worth the pickup if you enjoy that kind of humor. If you're just a South Park fan, it's fun. Or if you haven't already played it. Hyrule Warriors Definitive Edition, May 18th. I'm passing on it because I've already played it, but I know OJ, you're probably picking it up.
Yeah, because everyone wants to like watch me play it just because of all the stuff in there. So
I'm not saying I know there's people who are fans of the game, and that's fine. Yeah. I already played it, so I'm like, I'll move on.
I'm definitely grabbing it since I sold my Wii U already. I sold my Wii U a year and a half ago, and that's one of the few games that I actually missed right before. So seriously, the night I knew I was going to sell it, I ended up just recording a bunch of footage of Hyrule Warriors. Because I was like, I'm sure I'm going to talk about this game again someday. So I just recorded like 5 hours of it. Love that game. Really glad it's coming back.
The DLC is what I'm really wanting to get into.
Zionich, I see the 5. Thank you. I'm going to, again, read everything out at 10:30 p.m., which is in 7 minutes or so. Go on, OJ. I'm sorry.
Sorry to cut you off, dude. I said the DLC is what I'm really interested in. That's like the big thing for me because I already beat the game, but like the DLC, I didn't play any of the DLC, and they're taking the mechanics from the Hyrule Warriors Legends, like the whole like how you can have multiple party members all on the same map. They're ripping that straight into this one, so that's cool. So that's the reason why I'm excited to play the DLC.
Let's move quickly through the next two because they're not technically newish games or new games even. ARMS is doing a whole tournament, Global Test Punch and everything. I didn't know ARMS was. I mean, they're still putting their backing behind it because I think that's an IP they want to keep going. But I didn't know if a lot of people moved on from ARMS. I know I haven't really touched it since then, but I know there's still probably an esports scene they're trying to get going around it. So Splatoon 2 version 3.0 coming late April, 100 plus new pieces of gear, 3 stages, rank X, and they're also launching their first paid DLC, $20, the Octo expansion, which is extra campaign, playable Octoling, usable multiplayer. That's summer 2018. Again, $20. Not surprised for a paid DLC. I was a little surprised they did as much free DLC as they did, but you had to know with how well it's been selling. They know they could do a paid DLC at this point. They know they could devote the time to develop and create one, and then of course get paid for it. So
yeah, I mean, people like me are gonna line up. That game is, oh man, it's so big.
Oh yeah, people are probably gonna buy it once it like it's not up for pre-purchase yet, is it? Is it? I don't think
I thought it was for pre-purchase. I thought they said after you can pre-purchase it.
Okay. Yeah, as soon as it is, or if it is now, people are already buying it. This is pretty clear, I think. Very popular in Japan. Japan's going to buy so many of these DLC packs. It's going to be ridiculous. So good to see that putting a lot of work into that game, though. It's a fun game. And then Super Smash Bros. Was the big announcement that everyone cared about, really. I mean, there was some good stuff here, but that's the one that everyone continues to talk about right now, because there's still a lot of questions around this thing, man. There's a lot of questions. We're gonna spend a little bit of time on this. So if we go over 10:30, we'll read the comments and everything after that. But Smash Bros. This is interesting. We had the whole thing. We know obviously the Inklings are in. But then they turn around, big, flaming smash ball behind them, the symbol and everything. You see Breath of the Wild link, which was something everybody noticed instantly that it's me in there. And then it zooms out and then it ends, just the Smash Bros logo. And of course, everyone's asking, is it a new game? So what do we think?
It's 100%. It's a new game.
It's a new game. There's multiple reasons why, but you guys can go and maybe I'll say something after. I want to hear what you guys have to say on it.
Okay.
As a casual fan, as somebody who's played a lot of the games, probably 100 hours total, and fought a lot of like tournament people, but is not great at the game, I'm just excited to see the roster more than anything else. Like I'm curious about all the fine tuning and tweaks I'm sure they're going to add, but more than anything, I just want to see that roster as soon as possible.
Okay. I would Sean, what do you think? Think it's a new game?
Yeah, at first I thought it was just going to be like a deluxe port, but somebody actually sent me some weird graphic that they made where was
it that image where it had like the sub print that said it was like a new thing?
Yeah, and let's see, where'd it go? Okay, so something about the text as well.
Yep.
Because the text is different than like Hal uses one type of text. And that's what they used in this. So yeah, I think it will be.
There's also no Bandai Namco included in the copyright details or anything either.
Well, y'all got the email from Nintendo themselves, right, about this. It says specifically at the end of the email that they want to make it very clear that the name may not be Smash Brothers Switch. They said we're working on a title, and that's
working title. Yeah.
That's what wins me over the most is the idea of this isn't going to be Smash Deluxe. If it was, I feel like they'd come out and say that. The fact that they're being so hidden, I feel like this is an all. And
didn't Sakurai mention that he's been working on it for a while now?
He said he's been working on it for a while. And that's the reason why it's a new game. Maybe, like I said, I think it's going to be heavily based on Smash 4. I think they're going to take.
How is that engine, OJ? Is that engine still usable now in 2018? You think it's okay to build a whole new game?
Absolutely, okay. It's a fantastic engine. It was custom built for Smash Brothers for Wii U. It's a really good engine. I think that they're going to take that. They're obviously going to I think they're going to make it better. I think they're going to do stuff to it to where it's better. But I feel that with the working title, like Dreamcast Dude said, and I'm just calling you Dreamcast Dude.
No, you're fine. People in chat know who I am.
Okay. So like the fact that it's working title, and on top of that, like there's just so many reasons why I feel that. And Nintendo has been pretty upfront, right? With all their deluxe ports or whatever, they've told us from the very beginning, this is a port. Like they haven't been sneaky about anything, Hyrule Warriors, Donkey Kong, everything. They've said this is a game that it came on Wii U. Even in like the Direct, the Captain Toad, this was on Wii U. Now it's coming to Switch. You know, like they've been very upfront with everything. So I don't know why Smash Bros. Must be all secretive and maybe it's a port later. I mean, they would have just told us if it was a port, it was a port. But that trailer does not scream port to me.
I think there's also a good chance that maybe Sakurai isn't as invested as he was before. I'm sure he's still working hard on it, but I'm hoping that he's getting some of that younger talent involved as well that we keep hearing about to help him build it, and maybe he doesn't have to, you know, like lose his hand or something over it.
Yeah, man. That's what I'm hoping.
I have a feeling he came back and was like, let's include the younger talent because I'm not gonna be able to do this forever, right? Let's get somebody even, you know, under me in terms of like, you know, under his wing and go over everything and show him somebody I can trust. And that's what I'm thinking is happening is that because somebody's got to carry the Smash Bros. Legacy forward, and I think he started right away because they went over that, and they probably showed him honestly or talked to him about the Switch, and he probably liked it like a lot of people did. So he's probably like, all right, yeah, let's do this.
And you see that meme where it's Sakurai and he's clearly sitting in his office and it looks like he's been up for like 5 days straight, and it says like, yes, I'm working on a new Smash. Don't ever ask me for anything ever again.
Yeah. Although Sakurai looks younger than all of us, but I mean,
right? Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, man. Yeah, this is crazy, but. It's gonna be cool. And honestly, here's the question that I think I see a lot of people ask, and I think it makes a ton of sense: is this game launching alongside the online service in September?
I think it has to. I would. My guess is that that's just a coincidence, though. Is I think that was already going to come out about that time, and the online was going to be done about that time, and they're just going to play it up. But I think that both of those were already super heavy into development, so they're just going to treat that as like this, hey, because remember they already said Nintendo had that official interview recently, or they were talking to their investors, and one of their investors said, how are you going to convince people to join the paid online service? And their response was, once we show a trailer for it, it will sell itself. So maybe that's just going to be their coming out like, hey, look, it's Smash Online.
Just go, hey, yeah, you want to play Smash? Give us $20 for the year, and you're in. And most people are like, all right, yeah. Okay, dedicated servers, exactly. People in. Oh yeah, I mean, honestly, the competitive scene, like people, if they're that in a Smash, they'd pay $100 a year if they get straight up dedicated servers. Don't have to worry about anything else. Yeah,
I might pay for that if it was dedicated servers for that.
Yeah,
I mean, most
Reggie was talking about standing up servers, so yeah.
I mean, that would be dope, though. It would be really good. But also another thing with the whole, if this is a port or not, another thing is I don't think there's parts of Smash Bros. On Wii U that's not compatible with the Switch version because of the online, how it was handled on the Wii U because of the multiple different, like Miiverse handles one friends list, and then you have a friends list on your OS. That's really weird. Like I played Smash a lot online, and the online in that game in terms of how you add friends and how you do, it just doesn't work. So that's another reason why I don't think it's just a straight port. You can't port over that trash online that they have, that system. There's no way they can port that over to the Switch and it be the same. Mario Kart's easier. I think Splatoon was easier because those were all built better, but that's the one flaw with Smash is that it's online and how it's handled is just horrible. And that's based on the Wii U, not necessarily based on them and their talents, but just the Wii U itself. So that's another reason why I think that's just.
I mean, if they've been working on this for years, I have a strong feeling they started to realize they could push the online with Smash. And I feel like they're going to give us the release date, and it's going to launch alongside the online service. And I think they have that planned out for probably well over a year now, maybe 2 years even. So it's a good way to push it. You have to have a game, and that's a game. But now the question is, if it launches in September, what do they launch in November or even December? Does Pokemon still make that 2018 release? Because how do you compete with Smash and Pokemon within 3 months of each other?
I feel like they're separate enough of a crowd that it will make people just buy both games at that point.
No, I mean, how do they, like, that's going to push so many, like, Pokemon is the one thing that's keeping a lot of people on the 3DS. But if Pokemon comes out on the Switch, you're probably going to convert a lot of those fans over, in which case you're going to have a lot of people buying Switches as opposed to maybe a PS4 or even an Xbox One at that point. I mean, is this the way that they get to, say, 35 million by the end of their second year with Pokemon and Smash?
Well, especially because of all those rumors that have been exploding, which I personally fully believe, but that this new Pokemon is going to be a full reboot and try and like reset the universe. And if that's true, even more so, you're going to get even more people like me who played Pokemon 20 years ago and now are coming back.
I think this Pokemon game's been in development for longer than a lot of people think. I do. I think, and there's a reason they will not take that 2018 date off of that investors book. So it's going to be interesting. I don't know. What do you guys think? Do you think Pokemon's still 2018, or do you think Smash is going to help push it into 2019?
I mean, it's tough.
It's a toss-up, man. I'm telling you.
It's a toss-up. It's tough to say, man. I don't know. I think it's 20. I went on record saying I think it's 2018, so I'm just gonna go ahead and stick with it. If it's 2019, I'm wrong.
Sure.
So, there would have to be something else, though. Like, Smash is a huge game. Don't get me wrong, but I don't think you can just have one big holiday game with the Switch. I think you have to have sort of a 1-2 punch at least.
Yep.
When you look at how much stuff came out, this past year, like you gotta have something similar.
Well, let me pose this question to you guys, and we will read questions soon, guys. Don't worry, I have them up on my screen here. I see them. But what do you guys think about? Because we know how. We know how Nintendo and Sony kind of contrast when it comes to announcing and then releasing. How far out does the thing release after it gets announced? What do you guys think about Retro Studios announcing their game at E3 and then launching it at holiday season?
I love
Could
it.
happen.
Depends on what that's so loose of it. I have no idea what it is. Depending on what it is,
Sure.
Yes. As long as it's not like Mahjong Fighter, yeah, I'm in.
Well, let's say it's an actual AAA game. Let's say they have actually been working on this for 4 years now. Let's say it's something massive, right? And they come out and they're like, "This is a big AAA game," catches everybody off guard. It's this massive thing, and then they launch it, and they're like, "You can get it in 5 months, in November or whatever." Is that enough?
It's just hard to be like you don't know it. Retro, they're the most mysterious Nintendo studio out there. Like they take so much time in between games. It's just like it's hard to predict what.
But we saw that LinkedIn post, right, where it talks about an open world game.
Yeah, it's just
branching storyline.
Is that real too? Is that?
I mean, we like to assume it is, right?
It seems to me like, is this the only game they're going to release for like the next 10 years or like 15 years? Like, I'm a little worried about just like, I don't know. It's hard for me because they don't say anything. They say absolutely nothing. So it's tough.
It comes down to, do you trust Retro with their storytelling? Because I trust them with my game mechanics. Do you trust them with a story that they are tasked to build from the ground up and create a new IP?
You didn't think Donkey Kong Country has an amazing story with Cranky Kong? What are you trying to say here, Joe?
I think they're good at taking an IP and putting it into an awesome playing game with controls that are tight. They built an awesome environment with Metroid Prime, but they haven't made a character themselves that I know of that is as big as those. So I'm curious. I feel like Nintendo saw what they did and they said, you know what, if you guys want to make your own IP, let's do it. I think that's kind of where we are now. So it's going to come down to it could be the best playing game in the world, but it could have like a junk story for all we know.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the worrying thing, I think, for a lot of people. So like I would like to see them be able to build something like in terms of the lore of something like a Horizon Zero Dawn, right? Something that just shows up and is like, this is a new IP. But Retro does something similar to that, where they build this really interesting lore, something that Max has talked about as being very interesting to him, right? Mm-hmm. Something like that they show up with, and they build this new world, this new story, and it's interesting. So that's kind of where I am there. I think Retro, Pokemon, and Smash, along with a Fire Emblem and Yoshi, I think would be enough for that holiday season.
Yeah, that's enough. I feel like the biggest thing is Nintendo has just been taking over the planet because they keep that steam going. As long as we get at least one really interesting game every month, they're killing it. Like, holy hell. So, yeah.
Okay. And we also don't know about this Call of Duty thing, so who knows? Maybe there's a Call of Duty game. I don't know. So okay, we did everything there. Let me pull up the other screen for this as well, and I'm going to go through your guys' questions that you left here for us. As soon as I pull this up here, I got to go through the back end of this. There we go. So the first one is Hey So Colin with actually no message, so thank you. Big Jerseys says, let me see. Oh, I love the content that you guys put out, but haven't really checked out OJ's channel. You should go check out PlayerEssence. You can search it right on YouTube, or I'm sure OJ can drop his channel right in the chat real quick.
I can't post. I'm not a moderator, so
I can make you a mod. Evan can. Somebody can make you a mod.
Here, I'm gonna do a heart. Make me a mod too. People have been saying in chat this whole time of being like, "Why is it Dreamcast Guy a mod?" So
do it. What a meme we were doing.
Evan, can you make people mods and stuff?
Probably not. Hang on, give me a minute.
I mean, I can grab him, but the chat is rolling right now. And then that way I can get everybody going. Let me see. There he is. He dropped a little hard in. Add moderator. There we go. All right, so you're in now. Where's OJ?
I put hi, mod me.
Let me see.
The power.
Oh yeah. There we go.
Oh, there we go.
You're good now. So you can do all that. We got you.
Thank you.
Okay. So yeah, you can check. He'll drop a link in there for you. Jerseys. That'll have to change soon, though. There you go. What third-party characters that weren't in Smash 4 would you like to see in the new Smash Bros? That's interesting because I actually did a video today, and some people were dropping. Actually, no, 2 days ago, people were dropping in some people. Crash seems to be the biggest one that everyone wants because he's now on a Nintendo system. And then it was really funny, Evan. This is what I was like, everyone would get a kick out of that. People were saying, I don't think it's OJ, is the rule that they have to have appeared on a Nintendo system at some point to be in Smash?
I don't know if it's like a solid like.
Okay.
Like no, I don't think so. But
Okay.
I mean, because like Cloud has never been on a.
I thought about that. I was like, I think he was in like a rhythm game or something.
He was in Theorhythm, Final Fantasy.
Like Final
Theorhythm.
Fantasy 7 was never on a Nintendo system.
Yeah, he's been in the 3DS stuff. Like he's had like outfits, like the Final Fantasy Explorers. You know, he's been in stuff like that, but he's never been like actual like this is Cloud Strife, like his game. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, I don't think it's a rule. It's just something like And I think what was it? Okay, Twin Snakes. Yeah, Snake was in. That Snake was in Twin Snakes. Before then. But I mean, I don't think it's like a solid rule. But at the same time, obviously, they're gonna gravitate towards characters that are like iconic or
the other one that popped up because they posted the community manager from CD Projekt Red post on Twitter about Geralt going to another game. We're pretty sure it's Soul Calibur, but now Smash is announced and people are like, what if he shows up in Smash out of nowhere? That would be a very big surprise, I think. I don't know. I think he fits better in a Soul Calibur, to be honest, but that would be surprising. I'll say that. I'd be like, oh wow, geez, okay.
Rivia sweeps into battle when he gets out his 2 swords.
Yeah, man. I don't know. What do you think about that, Evan? Where do you think he has a better chance, Evan, of going to Soul Calibur or Smash?
Definitely Soul Calibur. I mean,
that's what I figured.
I don't feel like the Smash community is as close to the Witcher series as most people think. So it's like,
it's
not a thing.
No, I think you're right, but it was interesting to see that and be like, I guess that's true. I mean, that's the one thing you could do that would catch people off guard. Cloud caught a lot of people off guard, I think. But Geralt would catch me off guard. That's sure. That's sure.
Yeah, but that's as much as like if they put a Madden character into Smash, like he's just coming out.
Tom Brady deflates his way in.
I actually really want Bo Jackson in Smash Brothers. I think that would be amazing. Actually,
you get Doom Guy in Smash though. Doom Guy, sweet.
Dude, just get Michael Vick from Madden 2004.
Oh no, he'd be unbeaten. Dude, he'd never catch him. He was invincible in that game, dude.
That's great.
God tier.
Oh my God,
man.
I put in the Madden Challenge and everybody was using. I went to the Madden Challenge in San Francisco and everybody was using the Atlanta Falcons. Like it was Atlanta Falcons
right.
every single. I was like, can I play somebody that's not using the Atlanta Falcons? Jesus.
That's about right, man. That's about right. Real quick, guys, I go through any third-party characters you guys would like to see in Smash.
Chrono, please. Chrono.
Ooh, good one.
On the topic of RPGs, I'll say Vice from just for the hell of it, I'm gonna randomly throw out Ryo Hazuki from Shinmu.
Ooh, okay. Yeah, cool. That's a cool idea. What about you, Sean? Anyone?
Crash.
Sure. Yeah. Crash is that's a great one to see. I would like to see that, or even Waluigi.
Give me Chrono. I want Chrono.
Dude, Waluigi can have the taunt where he just hits people with the crotch chop from Super Mario Strikers all day. That's great. Evan, anyone off the top of your head, Evan, that's hitting you that are like, that'd be cool?
Not necessarily, but like probably something from any of these games that are finally getting brought to Nintendo. Like, what if it was the Skyrim main character or something from like just have shouts and stuff he can use during combat. Like that could be kind of fun.
That would be dope, actually. I think they could do like the Skyrim dude. I think that might be interesting.
Because this is the year that Nintendo's getting all these games that no one's really associated with Nintendo. So why not kind of put it to the front?
Get some from Bethesda. They could. Yeah. I mean, they could even pull the who you call it from Wolfenstein if they wanted to.
DJ Blazkowicz.
Yeah. Brain Glick says IGN supposedly has 9 million subs, real or fake news. I assume they've been around for a while. I assume that's their sub base. Chad says it's so hard to walk away from 70 million 3DSs. Pokemon will be the Switch, pun intended there, way. That's what I'm kind of thinking is they don't want to let go of the 70 million rope and then grab right onto the 18 million rope. I think they want to just kind of let the 3DS stuff go. I mean, it still sells, so why not? And then right away, Jason says, "Why walk away from an ATM when it's spitting money?" Like I said, I think Nintendo will stick with 3DS, but I think they'll definitely slowly transition away from it to the Switch, since the Switch has been successful at this point. Wishbone, since Valve stated they're going to be printing new games, Left 4 Dead 3. Will that be shown at E3 since last one was 2009 E3 Expo? Been a long time. People have been clamoring for Left 4 Dead 3. I would like to see that, actually, because a lot of people like the first two.
Well, and there was internal testing. We know for a fact that there is a prototype. They built a prototype at some version for Left 4 Dead 3, and it got far enough along that they were doing internal server testing. So they were actually building the game, and then for whatever reason stopped. That was like 5 years ago.
Interesting. So, well, they probably stopped because they don't need to build games.
Yeah.
Steam, they can literally sit in their office and just make money.
Well, and also, I mean, the weird secret of the game industry is more games are canceled than released. Like a lot of stuff just gets canceled internally. So it could have been one of those things where they started testing it and went, there's no point.
Well, the fact that news right now is that Valve, a company that obviously built Half-Life, is going to start making games again is it's a little weird. That's newsworthy, but I mean that's kind of where we are now. They just got to the point where they could just literally sit in recliners in their sweet office and just make money. So and it's not like they manage the Steam store at all. So
I'm surprised if Gabe. I mean, I don't know what does Gabe have to like live. I mean, what is he? Why is he still working? That's what I'm wondering.
He's worth $5 billion, isn't he?
Yeah, like 4 or something,
Yeah.
4 billion. I'm like, why is he even like what? I mean, if you're like make games, if you're not gonna make games, like what are you doing? Are you just like chill? Like, does he work? What does he do? I want to know exactly.
Evan, you said they've done a lot of work in the Dota scene, right?
They did for a while just to try to build it up to a point where now it's becoming more organic with everything outside of Valve, because there's always been back and forth between Valve and the people producing those shows because they've always had issues. But at this point, I mean, we've seen him mostly be working on hardware, and I know we were talking about him saying he wanted to create his own thing that Steam would work on, and that really does boil down to hardware work. I mean, they've always been software heavily. They've occasionally done stuff with Steam Link, the controllers, and I think
But none of that's really taken
VR
off
system.
yet,
Yeah, none of it's really worked because I'm guessing he always feels like he's behind. Like when VR starts coming up, they started working on those little motion control things, but everyone was already done. So
it's almost like
it's
almost like they just seem so lackadaisical to me because of Steam. It's like they don't need to do anything, so they're like, I guess
like
maybe
he just lays in bed and eats cheesesteaks.
Well, no, but I'm sure moderating Steam is an incredibly massive monster. I mean, it's like running YouTube of video games. Like there's constantly just
but you have to read the comments.
It's kind of their fault, though. I mean, they don't. Steam's big, but I don't know. It's so weird that they can't moderate that thing.
They should have more than enough staff to moderate that and take care of it.
Someone was selling an empty folder the other day for 3 days straight as a game.
Did it sell?
Yes. Yeah. People. I almost bought it just to be like, this is what Steam is now. This is what it is.
The game was an empty folder?
Yes. I'm going to look the game up right now. Someone in chat probably can tell you right now what it was, but it was embarrassing for Steam.
This kid managed to glitch past the submit page where you're supposed to like pay the submission fee and try and apply. And he managed to he found a weird glitch loophole where you could basically just put your game on the front page of Steam. And he literally made a game that was just watch paint dry. And it literally was just a picture of a wall. And you paid for a picture.
This article was written on March 5th with the title, Steam is so poorly moderated that it's selling an empty game folder. The game is called Shadow Treachery Cannot Be Tolerated. It was an empty game folder that when you download it, it's just a folder named that.
Good.
How much did it cost? Was it?
It was
$5.
I think it was $2 or $3.
Okay, that's not. I mean,
not too bad. Don't start bargaining. It's an empty folder. Like that's the cheapest nothing I've ever bought.
Yeah, I mean, if you didn't want to create that folder yourself, I mean, you could buy that folder.
But this is also the place where they let through things like the fidget spinner game that sold $50 DLC.
That was huge on Twitch for a little bit.
The fidget spinner game, $50 DLC that I think was a gold fidget spinner, and I want to say a gold bong as well. I think, yes, that's what they were selling. Steam is just 25 to 30 games I think released there. There's a lot of talk internally about developers losing confidence in Steam at this point because of that, and it's they just let it junk on there all the time. It's just there's so many bad. If you watch a lot of YouTubers now, their entire channels revolve around making fun of Steam at this point because it's so easy to. So I don't really know what to say there. Now they want to ship games. I mean, that's great. They want to start building games again because I think it was really cool when they were doing stuff like releasing Left 4 Dead, releasing Half-Life 2. We'll never see a Half-Life 3, I don't think, but those kind of games. It was cool to see that. They're releasing Artifact, which is a digital card game that will also work with the marketplace in terms of buying and selling cards.
They said that it's the Half-Life 2 of card games.
That's
cool. I don't know what that means.
No, Gabe said that.
They did. They did. He should have said this is the Dark Souls of
right.
I mean, yeah. That's the first time I've heard him say Half-Life in like 10 years.
I'll stick with the Final Fantasy VII card game things because I'm a boss.
Ooh, where'd you get that?
My friend got it at a convention down in Austin. It's really complicated, but it's really fun.
Oh, then count me out. No, I'm joking. I want to.
Evan, are you excited, Evan, that Valve could be printing and selling their own games again?
I mean, maybe. The problem is, what are they going to put out? Because it's just like with Artifact. Artifact's coming out. It's a card game. It's an obviously good business maneuver. It's a card game that's coming out 5-6 years after the card game craze has really exploded and is starting to like kind of taper off, and now they're trying to get in on it, but they do have a better platform for gaining their own personal money in it. So it's like they still feel like they're behind. So, I mean, if Half-Life 3 comes out, is it going to look visually like a first-person shooter from 10 years ago? Like, what are we going to be dealing with?
Yeah, that's a good point. It's hard to say, man. It really is. Lycon says 3DS still has the market at that price point. That's correct. I mean, it's an 80. You can get it for $80, right? Or is it 70? 80. It comes with Mario Kart if you get just the regular 2DS, or you get the $150 2DS XL or the $200 3DS XL. So it's although that one doesn't come with an AC adapter, which is still weird to me. You can still though they have the price point. You're correct. They although the 2DS XL is probably the best buy. I think that's the best purchase at this point because it comes with an SD card and it comes with an AC adapter. So
and you don't and it rips. I mean, 3D is just not.
Some games turn it off, right? Doesn't Pokemon just turn it off outright?
It just doesn't work. It turns it off. Some parts it works, some parts it doesn't. Like Pokemon X and Y, like some parts it works, some parts it doesn't work. It's just ridiculous. So yeah.
Nix has a shout out to DreamcastGuy saying they've stopped going to IGN, GameSpot, and Kotaku because of you. So shout out from Compton.
Thank you. Yeah, I know that guy, and thank you. I try really hard. That was my goal from the beginning when I started my channel. I wanted to do reviews bigger than the big guys.
I don't even watch. I look at your reviews, man. You've made actually running on the treadmill fun. All of you guys' videos, by the way, you guys have actually made it running. I can run on the treadmill with confidence now and have the time go by because I go for an hour. So
nice. Daniel J says, do you think the PS4 will hit 100 million this year or next year? What are they at now? They're at like 80 million, I think now, right?
About 74, 75 million.
74. Okay. I don't know if they'll get there this year. I think they'll hit it in 2019 though, definitely.
For sure, 2019.
Yeah.
They can sell like 20 million this year. They'll sell 20 mil this year, and they'll be like at almost. They'll be a little bit away, and then the following year, yeah. So
yeah. So they're very successful system there. 100 million is good, but they need to start Sony needs to start worrying about next generation. I keep saying this. They're being very, very confident right now with things like even crossplay. And next generation, everything starts back at zero. So
I honestly feel that Switch is kind of cutting into. I think they maybe could have got there if the Switch wasn't here. For some reason.
I do think the Switch has cut into some of that.
Maybe just a little bit.
I mean, they're still shipping systems, but I mean, if it was just Microsoft and Sony, Sony would be at 130 systems by now. Absolutely. What do you think, Max? Think 100 million this year or next year?
Yes, easily. It's still moving, and the buzz around stuff like Spider-Man and God of War, I think
that's gonna be awesome.
I think that God of War, it's weird because I feel like a lot of people aren't publicly talking about God of War, but I have a feeling that's going to be an explosive hit. I think the day it comes out, it's going to win a lot of people over because that was already a really popular series, but this new one kind of reaching into the single player narrative experience even heavier, I think is just going to explode, and it's going to push console sales.
I seriously, I reward creativity. I'm buying that game day one because I like the idea of them doing something different with this. The series that I think was getting a little tired, I would say. So I'm looking forward to that, definitely.
I'm a huge God of War fan. I play the games for the stories for the most part. The gameplay's always been good, but I play it for the story.
This is right up your alley, then.
Yeah, so I'm definitely picking it up. I don't know if I'll like the gameplay, but I know I like the story. So,
and then let's see. Vorel says apparently Kirby Star Allies has a massive end game, according to rumors, with a large hub world and boss rush mode. That sounds awesome. I don't want to be spoiled too much for it, but I'm happy to hear that it has an end game to it that's pretty good. So that'll be very fun. I'll be picking that up, of course, this Friday. Yeah, that'll be awesome. With the new My Nintendo rewards, give more gold for digital over physical. Do you think Nintendo are pushing for all digital? I think every company. And we saw the breakdown from Ubisoft. Everyone wants to sell digital. Yeah. Everyone. It's literally a difference of like to 15%. I think 15 to 20%. So yeah, I think everybody wants digital. So I think that's pretty. The companies do. Maybe not every person wants it, but companies definitely do. Did they? Chad again said, did they make Mario Tennis a fighting game? It felt like it at times when they were showing it. I will say that all the stuff they showed where rackets are breaking and people are getting knocked out, and literally they're like it's a KO hit or something like that.
It's not that it's fighting, but it's definitely closer to the old school battle stuff.
It has that mind game stuff to it, right?
Yeah, it's got those elements that it does feel like that halfway point between actual fighting and just minor elements.
Olu Uzoka saying shout outs to DreamcastGuy, RGT85, and of course my Hokage OJ. Hokage. Thank you.
Put that on the Naruto board for you.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Your Hokage is very welcome.
I was playing Splatfest. I didn't know you were live streaming Spawnwave. Very cool.
This new Splat, man, I'm having a ball with this new Splatfest.
Let's see. Again, Vorel saying lots of Metroidvania games on the eShop. Here's hoping for an actual 2D Metroid / Castlevania. I would like to see a 2D Castlevania. Even if they just did something like, here is Symphony of the Night, you know?
Oh yeah, I'd take it.
Slap that on there for $10. I'm in. Absolutely. NX Revolution with a bit of a celebration message, I guess. I thought 2018 would kill Switch. There were a lot of people who thought that the Switch would lose momentum in 2018.
I know what he's referencing. That's a reference.
Okay. That's Re-Res. Because Re-Res's video.
I'm not even going to say anything, man.
Okay, then. I did not know that. All right.
I wonder if he deleted that video. Yeah, he made a video called like, "Will 2018 murder the Switch?" Everyone was like, "No,
he didn't delete it. It's still there, man."
Okay. Well then,
egg on his face.
Okay. All right. I've actually met Shane. He's actually a really nice guy.
He's great.
He actually was trying to help me when I was at Too Many Games as to what to buy and do on the channel and stuff. Like when I was there, like what I should get that sounds interesting is on the radar. But I guess that video didn't go well. Okay then. David says thoughts about Breath of the Wild Link and what appears to be female Link in Phantasy Star Online 2, and what will be Nintendo's first cloud game for the West, and how would that work?
Yeah, I heard about. Eric was telling me about how they showed Link for PSO2 for Japan.
Oh wow! What the hell?
Yeah, it was in their direct.
It was in the direct. Yeah.
Yeah, I told them. I said, you know what? You got to bring that west before I really start looking at it. But that sounds interesting enough to see. How would a cloud game work? That is the one way that they could potentially get around these file sizes for MMOs, because you have to be online to play it anyway. I'd be curious to see what the delay is on that, though. That's the one interesting thing to me is the delay.
They've actually detailed it, like how much the delay. They actually talked about it, where they said this is how much the delay is going to be. I forgot what article, but I think I remember talking about it at one point, that they detailed it a little bit. Like, this is the delay that you should expect.
Yeah, I mean, I guess with slower MMOs, it doesn't matter as much as like a faster MMO. Like we would have not have been able to do that with DC Online, right, Evan?
No.
Yeah. That was very much like it was more of an action-based game. This one's more of a World of Warcraft, so I think they can get away with that.
Yeah, with the world's cooldown system.
Yeah. More so, I think, than an action RPG. This was a little slower, I think. And then Will McConnell, if Diablo 3 gets released, will they package the Necromancer? Would love to see a port of Ni no Kuni to Switch. Yeah, that one went to DS, right? I'm not remembering
in Japan.
That wrong, right?
It didn't come out in America.
But it wasn't like the PlayStation 3 game. It was kind of weird.
It was sort of. It followed the same story, but really slimmed down. And I think the cutscenes were like comics.
I am buying Ni no Kuni to the Friday after Kirby. Absolutely, I'm getting that 100%. Diablo 3, I'm assuming is going to package as much as they can. I would hope anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So I would assume that.
The game's really old at this point. I was kind of shocked that, like, when I looked at my receipt, how old it was. You know, like I bought that game like 2015. It's like 3 years now, going on 3 years. So, but I bought the Reaper of the Souls or whatever. So like the one that has the extra content.
I think it originally came out 2012, just off the top of my head.
Yeah, 20. Yeah, I was in the hospital when my daughter was born, playing that game on my laptop.
Good man.
When she was asleep.
Sakon says, Idia from Bravely Default. Did I say that right? I guess Flynn from Shin Megami Tensei. Is that what you're trying to abbreviate there? It might have been a typo, actually, from what I'm seeing here for that. But I guess they're asking for a Bravely Default character in Smash Bros. They could come up with some of those. You have to remind me here. Were people a little let down when odd Fire Emblem characters were added?
I know people said that there's too many Fire Emblem characters. Okay. I know that's something that people have said, that there's too many and that they're not very good. That's another thing. Like competitive wise, I mean, Martha's probably the best out of the lot there. The best.
People like Roy, didn't they? Or no, am I wrong about that?
People like Roy as a character. They like Roy, but Roy's not good in Smash Brothers. He's he's a very lower tier character. But people love him though. People do love him.
Sokar actually says we had Cloud, but what about Squall? Mm-hmm. Yeah, you could throw Squall in there. He was in the Kingdom Hearts game on the 3DS, wasn't he?
He might have been on some of them. I just don't think that. I don't think Square Enix is gonna. I don't think Nintendo Square Enix is gonna do that.
I mean, until we see Final Fantasy VIII come to PlayStation 4, because there's so many Final Fantasies that are being remastered and released on PlayStation 4. 8 is still totally missing. So until you see that, don't expect Square Enix to put him anywhere else.
It's on Steam right now, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. Interesting. And then OJ, I think somebody has the exact same name and account as you on here as well. So you might want to look into that. I saw them posting in the chat and they posted.
I think it's John Steele. He's got a bunch of them. He just switches between them.
Yeah, he's kind of a troll. Like,
yeah, a little bit.
He was asking why we have Super Metal Dave. I have Dave on now and then. I might have him. It's fun. He's cool. We had that cool interview with the people from Seasons of Heaven. So it was very, very insightful. AVGN, Laserdisc fan says AVGN in Smash. He was in a Wii U eShop game. Yeah, he actually had a couple games I think made around him.
They were done by Screw Attack. Screw Attack made those.
Yep.
Yeah, he's popular enough to have his own game. Absolutely. In Smash. I don't know. I don't know if he hasn't been in a Nintendo game yet. I guess, right? JV Money says by Bandai Namco being a part of Nintendo via Switch, could Dragon Ball Z character be in Smash? Everyone always asks about Goku, right? OJ, isn't that the joke?
It's a joke. It's become a joke at this point. It's a joke.
All right, would that break the internet if Goku is in it?
That would break the internet, but I just don't think it's gonna. It's just not gonna happen.
I mean, just because a game is on the Switch doesn't mean Nintendo has the rights to the. characters.
But I'm asking more along the line. Would that break the internet because that's like the meme right now for Smash?
It would break the internet. Yeah, it would. People would freak out.
I'm just curious if that would be like, yep, internet's broken. Yeah, can't go on Twitter. Goku got it now announced.
How much worse would it be if it wasn't even him? If it was like Krillin or something, just a supporting character.
What if it was like Raccoon or something? Yeah. That would be outstanding.
That would be amazing. The amount of salt that would conjure up would be very good.
Man, empty link to. I think we were talking about the empty folder for Smash, which will be a port because we were talking about empty folder for Valve and Steam, and I think that is everything. That is all the questions. Thank you guys for submitting questions and everything. Evan, is there anything in a Discord before we log off that was pertinent or different?
Covered some things so far. I've checked off. The only question really is why are the Wii U ports so controversial for the Switch? But I mean, we kind of talked about that.
Well, I mean, ports are interesting, and we have a few minutes here. I guess we can talk for a few minutes, very quickly about this, because I'm sure OJ wants to weigh in on this as well. Probably Sean too, because you did a whole video today about this, right, Sean? About ports.
I did.
And Max maybe even has some insight into this as well. Ports are hitting the Switch now, and it's a very interesting thing that I've observed, because we actually talked about it a little bit, Sean, on your Hangouts that we did ahead of the Direct. And I made the point that really confused me, because I kind of just observe all these arguments, stuff going on. I was a little confused now to see people complaining about ports when they were complaining about third parties before not going to Nintendo stuff, and now they are, and now they're annoyed that they're ports. But I don't really know what people want otherwise.
I mean,
I'm a little confused.
The thing of it is, watch my video, but the summary of it is that it makes sense. There's two, in my opinion, in my video, I basically break it up. There's two types of ports. There's the ports that are coming from Nintendo and the ports that are coming from third parties. The ports that are coming from Nintendo are probably the more interesting of the two, because people are like, oh, well, these games were on the Wii U. I owned a Wii U. Yeah, you and like 12 million other people. That's it. The Switch has already outsold the Wii U in its first year, while the Wii U was available on the market for 4 years. Well, if these people want to play these Wii U games, they need to buy a Wii U. Look at the secondhand market for the Wii U. It's still super expensive. So it makes sense from a business standpoint to do that. The reason third-party companies are doing it is because, A, a lot of them didn't think the Switch was going to be very successful. And two, they always do this. This is what they do now. They that's an Uncle Jesse thing.
Yeah.
They always do this now. They remaster definitive editions, blah, blah, blah. So it makes sense. It's a way to dip your toe in the water of the Nintendo Switch without diving in head first. And while some companies are diving in head first, some are a little more hesitant. And it's just the way of the market nowadays.
I think people are I feel like a lot of people are missing the point of these ports, which is we want to be on the Switch so fast, we're just trying to put stuff on it while we make new games. Like I guarantee you, every one of these companies that's porting tons of stuff is already making their new games Switch compatible as well. It's just a matter of like, okay, we don't want to wait 2 years to put out something on this console. If we can put LA Noire on there now while we figure out how to make Red Dead work or whatever, like that is much better use of our time and money.
And I know I said in this show alone that I'm not worried about Crash. I'm not worried about Dark Souls. I'm not saying that those games coming over are terrible, because it's great. It's great for anyone that has a Switch who's probably never played any of that or has great fond memories of it. But like, I'm not trying to knock it. So like, it's still something that's pretty good, like overall, even from a standpoint of someone who doesn't really care about the game themselves.
I'll never understand why people complain about more games. I'll never understand that. Wii U, this was the problem. People complain that we didn't get ports. Why isn't it coming to the Wii U? Why isn't it coming to this? And now we're actually getting those games, and some people are complaining that they're coming over. And I just find it ridiculous. Like, third-party developers should port everything that they got. I don't port everything that they got. Make new games, port your old games. Give us everything that you got. Like, I don't get it.
What's interesting about the Switch getting these ports is it's technically a different experience as well, if you really think about it, with the handheld play, because there are companies that have their games specifically on home consoles, and then they move to the Switch. Technically, have it on handheld then.
Exactly.
So I don't know. I'm not really sure why people would be frustrated with it. And honestly, we're assuming that everyone from the Wii U bought a Switch when that's not necessarily true. So, and
with some of these games, it's probably the best way ever to test the market on the Switch to see who actually has it, because it sounds like a lot of people still have that stereotype of it's a kid's console, it's this, or they only want to play Mario games, they only want to play Zelda games, no one's going to want to play Skyrim on the Switch. No, they do. And now we're seeing that, and now it's giving people more of a reason to go, well, now the next game we're making, that should go.
I saw one thing in the chat real quick. I'm sorry. You said I side with business sense. No, I side with the gamers. Gamers want games, okay? Would you not want games ports to come over, or do you want stuff to come over? Because people want games, plain and simple. Whether you play the game on PS4 and Xbox One, it's not the point. People want games. So that's actually siding with gamers, not siding with business. It's siding with gamers. Gamers want games. Not everyone has played everything on other systems. People want to play games portably. That's something that we've seen that, guys. So I don't know. No, it's not true.
Well, I guess I just don't understand why people were complaining about third party before not having it, and now the Switch is getting it and people are still, I don't know, it's weird. I don't understand it. Observing everything, I don't know.
I feel like it's people torturing themselves. They're focusing on the ports and forgetting the fact that we're being flooded with new games simultaneously. So it's like they're getting themselves mad. Like, we're getting new games on the Switch as well. We're being, almost everything indie now is coming out day and date also on that. A lot of big new games are coming out to that. It's like, look, bro, it's just an extra thing on the side.
Yeah, I mean, why not, right? It's like
Well,
it's either there or it's not.
I mean, do you see Xbox One, heavy gamers bitching about Crash Bandicoot? Oh, it's damn port. Like, no,
Yeah, right.
They're just like, cool, a new game to play. That was the PS4 time exclusive.
I bought ports on the PS4. I got like 8 or 9 of them. I bought Gravity Rush. I bought the DMC. I bought a bunch of ports. So
honestly, I didn't even think about that, OJ. It's a good point. Yeah, I have like 20. I have like 20 ports because I've rebought every single Final Fantasy they re-released.
Yeah, so, I got them too. I got all the Final Fantasy, the 10-2, and I got Final Fantasy 12. I got
7, 9, 12, 10. Yeah,
3 times now.
Yeah, so I don't see. This is the same thing that's been happening on all the systems forever. So I don't. 3DS had a bunch of N64 games. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
So,
I did specifically buy it on the Vita though because it was really cool to have something that's very grind heavy and Final Fantasy X portably.
Yeah, I bought it on everything. So I have it on 3DS, PS4.
How did we get 10 over to the Switch already?
Right.
Yeah, that seems like an easy thing. I don't know. Maybe there's an exclusivity deal, but it's on PC. I don't know.
I would like 10. I'd like a 12 too. I think 12 would be cool.
God, I love 12.
Yeah.
Sure.
I guess the only other question is if they, because I saw it pop up a couple times, if they announce Smash at E3, like I guess the question was what style in which will they announce it? Like how much will they announce? Do you think will it be like everything? Will they just trickle information out over the year?
I mean, honestly, at this point, I feel like E3 is the big jump off point for Smash, right?
I've said this, I've been predicting this for a year, but I think that Metroid is going to be the focus of E3. I think they're going to build the whole Nintendo side is going to look like that CR236, like the planet where they found the first Metroid. I think it's all going to be set up like that. And I think that there's going to be a heavy focus on hyping up Smash, but I think that the main thing is going to be Metroid.
It's interesting. You think it's going to be Metroid at E3, even if they don't really, let's just say they don't release it this year, you think they'll still push E3 that way? Or do you think they would save Metroid for the following E3 if it's not going to be out before next E3?
I still have a feeling that we might get Metroid this year, and I feel like we're going to see a lot of it. That I can't explain why, and if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But I have a strong feeling that they're really going to come out and drop the hammer on us.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah, I do think most of us understand that Smash will definitely be detailed fairly well at E3, and then it'll probably get its own. What they should do is take Smash and the online service, give both of them their own direct together, because Smash would be a good way to explain how the online service will work with Smash and in general. You know what I mean? Because I think it's almost like how the phone app was to Splatoon 2, where that's how we learned how to use the phone app, especially if we didn't like it. That's how we learned we didn't like it. But it's still the only game on there. So. But that's kind of the way I see it. So I guess that's gonna do it for tonight. I guess we're good. We'll go around here and do some outros, and then I guess we could find someone to rate if you guys have anyone in mind. So we'll come up with that.
We had someone in chat.
Okay, Sean, where can they find you, man?
You can find me at RGT85, pretty much everywhere on the internet. I have no clue what sort of videos I'm doing this week besides the RGT News episodes. That's all I really have planned. That's it.
New stuff planned. Very good. I need to work on that GameCube review, the HDMI thing.
I was streaming with it last night. It was pretty fun.
I like the idea, but I have my little Game Boy player here now too and everything. So
you got the Game Boy player?
Oh, dude. I'm ready to roll, man.
Dude, yeah,
I'm ready to roll, dude.
The nerdy side of the retro community will love you for that, because that's like the ideal perfect way to play.
Oh, dude, I'm zooming in on those pixels.
Yeah,
well, that's
pixels, man.
That's actually why I sold my Retron 5, is because I didn't like how the Retron 5 played Game Boy Advance games.
Oh,
so I'm definitely
keep talking.
I'm definitely probably going to get that just so that I can finally HDMI my Game Boy Advance games.
Yeah, it's supposedly it's freaking gorgeous. I don't know what the hell. I think I might have sold mine. I can't imagine I did, but maybe I did. Because I couldn't find it.
Can I just say the packaging for this is awesome, by the way?
Isn't it? It's so cool.
It's a little GameCube.
How much is that?
It's
$150.
Okay, not bad.
I thought that was really cool though. It's a mini GameCube and the instructions are on the bottom.
What y'all, when we're off air, one of y'all DM me the contact for that? I kind of want to email and maybe try and get one.
Okay.
And yeah, so I'm
Max, where can they find you, man?
Hi, I'm DreamcastGuy. I've got some really interesting videos coming out next week. I want to do a rant. I've heard a lot of people really harping again on the Xbox exclusives kill games type of thing, of like every game that just really is sent out on Xbox One dies. I kind of want to talk about that next week. I got my review of Yakuza 6 coming out on Thursday, and Top 10 Thursday is a really unique one that, well, nobody could take if they wanted to.
Nice. And then OJ, where can they find you, man?
It's right here on YouTube, also on just pretty much YouTube. If you want comedic stuff, go on my Twitter, PlayerEssence. If you want to just see me acting silly, that's where I go on Twitter. I act silly. If you want to see me as far as the content that I produce, because I know some of you guys were saying that you haven't checked out my channel, just type in PlayerEssence. You'll be able to see right here. I really focus on RPGs, Japanese gaming news, stuff like that. Really heavy into RPGs, really heavy into Nintendo stuff. Definitely cover PS4 and Xbox One when it comes to like Final Fantasy and things like that. So if you're into all that, make sure you can check out my channel. So yeah, I'll put a link in the chat too.
We also dropped. We have 2 different people you can raid. Evan, I think you posted a link to the other one.
I think Yellow Kazoo will.
Okay. I posted one for Game Over Jesse. You can go ahead and raid him. He's been on the channel a couple times, and then I believe there's another one. So there's 2 people you guys can raid. Okay,
yeah, there's Yellow Kazoo's link as well. He's a small streamer right now.
Game Over Jesse. Okay, you can rate either one. Just let them know SpawnWave sent you from the SpawnCast. Also, we have some updates coming for you guys for the SpawnCast. We're gonna make this look better since we tonight we had over 1,600 people in here. So we have to make this better for you guys. Yep. And we're going to, because I cannot stand Google Hangouts. There's so many times where you guys asked, what are you talking about? Well, like what subject talking about? Well, exciting stuff coming down the line, because we're going to actually make this a very professional looking podcast.
Well, we're going to try, and we'll see how long.
We're going to do our best. But Evan is going to thank you, Roberto Jimenez. I appreciate we're about to go off air, but thank you. We're going to do our best to make this much more interactive with you guys, and we're going to do our best to make this look a lot better. Okay, so it'll be a much more pleasant viewing experience. And of course, you guys can always still listen to it on SoundCloud, iTunes, and maybe Google Play eventually. But we're working on it. But yeah, keep an update, guys. We're gonna let you guys know in the next couple weeks what we're gonna do, and I think you guys are gonna like it. So we'll keep that. We'll leave that there. So go raid the people we dropped in. Let them know SpawnWave sent you guys. We got James Clark, and we have Game Over Jesse. And with that, guys, we'll see you next Saturday night, 9 p.m. Eastern time. Do not hit that like button. We'll see you then.